Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to another live stream. We are down to the last 48 hours before the Champions League final, the biggest game the last 9 years for Chelsea. And we kind of had the warm-up game with the Europa League final yesterday, but I was going to ask if anyone enjoyed it. Silly question.
Oh,
100
hell yeah.
for watching paint dry and then just a penalty shootout was more entertaining than the game itself. That and watching Man United get battered, of course, but big up everyone who's locked in. The link to everyone's socials are down in the description below, so check it out if you guys haven't done so already. We are going to talk about the Romelu Lukaku news and that we look to have taken a massive step towards finding our number 9 without even doing anything. It's just been Antonio Conte leaving that's kind of opened the door for us. But before we start that, guys, anyone want to say anything on the Europa League final? How did you guys find it?
Good evening.
It was a great final. De Gea
Lampard would have won that.
De Gea could not save one shot. It's so laughable. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like 11-10 in the shootout. It almost went to a full reset. Like how did that penalty shootout go to 11-10? So funny.
Bro, it's the same for both of them. Like, I'll be real. Rooney as well. He couldn't save a pen to save his life either.
Yeah, but he's not like 300k a week.
Yeah, but you look. I'll be real. That's on United. You look at the whole United squad. All of their wages are a joke.
Yeah.
Way too much. Way too much.
Give a big shout out to Big Game Bruno.
Big game Bruno.
Yeah,
Big game.
I was particularly happy because United fans have been trying to run this Bruno Lampard narrative because he scored 5 or 6 goals in the Europa League. Now he's level with Lampard. Apparently, no way. Lampard would have turned up in a big game as he always did. The only time he was in the Europa League, he won it. So there you go.
Are we all living in a yellow submarine this morning? A yellow submarine?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to sing because people just leave.
Oh no. We ain't gonna force you to do that. We're just here to take the piss out of Manchester United.
Yeah.
4 years in a row, no trophies. These lot are on the decline. It's slow and it's glorious, and I'm all here for it. Is there an echo?
Yeah,
Who's got
there is an echo
background?
somewhere.
I'm not sure who that is. Josh, that might be you still. I can't lie. Right, let's take that back. Yeah. Speak.
Is it me?
Oh shit, Scott, you want the link as well? One sec, I'll send it over to you. I didn't even know you were going to be about for today. Give me a sec, guys.
There's an interesting piece of news that I heard this morning.
Go on, chat to me.
Something was mentioned. I was watching a little bit of the United Stand, and Flex had Christian Falk on. Of course, the only topic they ever talk about is Jadon Sancho, right?
Oh, Mohammed, I sent you the link, G.
So, and they were talking, and he mentioned that a former Chelsea player, now in the Premier League, could be coming back to Chelsea. And that if that happened, Jadon Sancho would be his replacement. Anybody want to take a guess?
Certain players coming to the Premier League, and if he comes, leaving.
No, he's already in the Premier League, and he's a former Chelsea player. And he would be coming back to Chelsea, and that would allow Sancho to go to this team. Anybody want to take a guess on who that player is?
It's not Willian.
Not too sure.
But you said in the Premier League. Is it Rice to Chelsea and then Sancho to United?
No.
Oh, no.
Was
He's
the
a
same
former
position?
Chelsea player.
Same position or what?
He would play the same position as Sancho. Yes.
Is it Willian?
Salah.
Willian.
It is Mo
Wait, that's
Salah.
not happening.
Mo Salah.
What?
Mo Salah back to Chelsea. What?
Yeah, I just
Christian Falk mentioned it.
Nah, man.
don't
I think
know.
he's a bit shady. That one. I don't trust everything he says. He's got
I
things,
didn't
a
say
lot of
it's
things
trust.
wrong.
I'm just saying it's interesting news.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
How
no,
Mo
but where's
Salah
the
had-
pathway for this? Where are Liverpool selling one of their best players in Premier League history back to Chelsea? And also, we've been in this situation before. I didn't like how that ended last time, and I don't want us to go down the same road again.
Well, again, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just mentioning it as possible. Everybody's talking about Eden Hazard coming back. I'd rather have Mo Salah than Eden Hazard at this point. He's going to give you a little bit more.
I understand in terms of the injuries in the last 2 years. In terms of players as well, Mo Salah, if you don't play him in the right system, he's basically useless. And I'm not really feeling Mo Salah to Chelsea. I can't lie. But to be honest, from a finishing perspective, he'd still be the best finisher in our squad by a mile. So there's different parts to it. How much would Mo Salah go for? Well, how many years has he got left on his contract?
No, I can look that up.
2 or 3.
Probably have like 2, 3.
Because regardless, however much we want to get, because we're rivals, we're going to have to pay over the top for him.
Be over 100 million.
Over 100 million. Over.
Never. I would never spend that on him.
Nope.
23, so he's got 2 more years.
You know, he's still got.
How old is he? How old is Salah as well?
28.
Same year as Lukaku.
I'm having Lukaku though. In all fairness, I feel like he's got unfinished business at Chelsea. So
Well, so would Salah though, essentially.
I guess.
This would be along with Lukaku.
Yeah, but I just don't see Salah to Chelsea happening.
Yeah,
you can let us know in the comment section if you guys see it as well. But Salah to Chelsea, there's too much in the way of it. First off, you got Liverpool. Then you've got, because we're a rival, we have to pay extra. Like, I don't know. This has come totally out of left field.
Also, this guy needs like 10 chances in a game to get like 1 goal. I'm good.
He'll score 16
this season.
Look how many chances Liverpool played for him.
I've
already said,
to be honest,
if Werner was in this Liverpool team, he'd be getting 16. He'd be getting 20 goals a season if Werner was in.
Yeah.
No. But to be honest, I swear we made wait. Haven't we made the most chances in the league this season though?
Second most.
We're up there.
But it's not even the reason. It's not even just Timo having chances though. You see, Pulisic can have chances. Kai Havertz can have chances and miss.
Salah's the most disrespected player in the league, man. I don't understand that.
He's so overrated.
How can you be overrated when you scored like as many goals as Kane in the last 3 or 4 seasons?
He's so overrated.
Like, how can you be overrated when you're top goal scorer? You can't. You're scoring the goals.
Because it's more just like goals. Because as we've seen this season, his goals haven't meant shit.
Yeah, because the rest of the team.
We made the no. That's 18-19.
It's not his fault. Mane and Firmino did nothing.
Nah, Liverpool have made the most chances this season, not us.
Exactly.
That's
why he's getting 16 goals this season, and they still meant jack shit.
He wouldn't come to us anyway. And I just don't see that happening at all, man. I don't see
Big up Arsenal saying United with a great performance yesterday. Fucking boring, but we loved the ending of it. 100%. But yeah, Liverpool have made the most chances this season with 82. Then it's Man City with 79. United with 68 and Chelsea with 63.
And the majority of the chances that Liverpool create go to Mo Salah.
You know, he scored 31 goals in all competitions.
What, Mo? Cool. Because as I've just said, most of their chances go to him.
Wait a minute. That's 2021.
I fucking expect him to
I do want to say penalty.
Every fucking chance is going to him.
Yeah, but what is that? I don't understand.
To be fair, though, like he's a great finisher, man.
I'm not doubting his finishing ability, but as a player, he is overrated because he does nothing. If he doesn't score, he does nothing in a game.
Yeah, but no one says he's the greatest player.
Okay.
Can I ask you something, Scott?
I do want to say, Oscar, that's another guy getting in the way of your boy if he joins.
I don't want him.
Oscar.
I don't want him. I just think he's respect.
Okay, cool.
Scott, is Bruno overrated then?
Yes, he is.
Okay, at least you keep
Bruno.
saying with that.
Bruno's definitely overrated. 100%. I'm even agreeing.
Go watch last night. Honestly, Rashford and Bruno and Salah are 3 of the most overrated players in the Premier League. Easily.
I agree with Rashford and Bruno.
Wow.
Salah has won a trophy. So,
cool.
Couple
So
trophies.
Mustafi. I don't give a shit if he's won a trophy. So
But the thing is, I can't lie with Bruno, yeah. Bruno's in big games. Zero mentality.
There's a reason he's 28 and was still in Portugal.
The thing is, though, all of those guys.
Sorry to interrupt, Oscar. There's a reason that he left Sporting and they won their first trophy in, what was it, 8 years?
Yeah.
Something like that. And they were unbeaten. And his replacement was better than him.
Yep.
They are Myron Phillips as well saying it's a bit boring, but we only need 2 positions reinforced. Clinical number 9 and destroyer 6. We only bring a wide player if we lose one, in my opinion. I can back that.
I'm with Myron.
That's the main two for us. A winger was like we could if we serve the finances and we got those two positions, and the same with a centre back. I don't really think we need to go for any of them, but if there's a good enough option there, still go for it. But focus on the number 9, focus on the 6 first. I agree with you on that.
But that's the bit. Like if the Sancho Hudson-Odoi thing it has any bit of truth to it, I don't know if it does or not. But then like that I would take if it's a loan for like a year or two, and we can get Sancho.
Do you guys value the opinion of Simon Phillips?
No,
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
Well, he came out and said today Thomas Tuchel lacks Hudson-Odoi and is planning to use him next season. Callum is happy and he wants to stay. So
good.
I think I believe that.
I don't.
Yeah,
when I see Hudson-Odoi and Tuchel together, it just looks good because I think he's trying to ease him into Chelsea squad like slowly, like you know how like Pep did with Sterling a bit, like how he's like talking to him. It's like similar, like to that. I feel like just telling him instructions.
Yeah. And also, Nazar like said Hudson-Odoi is not going to Dortmund.
Well, because he knows everything.
But there's two journalists.
I'd say Cancella's more reliable than Phillips.
It's either you trust the journalists that are saying, "Oh, the Sancho to Dortmund thing is on," or the other journalists that are saying it's not. Like, who's to say who's right and who's not? There's two journalists saying different things.
Who's the one that said it in the first place?
What we did is extrapolate that we would be exchanging Hudson-Odoi for Sancho.
Who said this?
But what I've heard is they're going to come in and buy Sancho, Hudson-Odoi if Sancho goes.
But then when you hear two journalists saying Hudson-Odoi is not for sale, then what do you do with that information?
Everybody's for sale for the right price. Everybody's for sale.
Come on.
All right, fair enough.
I mean,
it's up to you. But if there was an 80 million deal, go on. What are you saying?
I said, just sounds like Ted DiBiase. Everyone's got a price.
Yep. $1 million man. I'm telling you what.
But if we're being real, though, if an £80 million bid did come for Hudson-Odoi again or something similar to that, do you think Chelsea would be more inclined to try and accept that? Or at the very least, consider it.
This time around, I think they would.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think
they're not going to bid 80 million.
I don't think we would.
I mean, all I'm saying is, if you're smart, you don't. But I think they would.
Well, first of all, Sancho is already more developed than a Hudson-Odoi. So if it was Sancho coming our way, that's an easy deal to make. And you let Hudson-Odoi go because you have a 20-year-old that's better at this point than Hudson-Odoi is, and has a higher ceiling because he's gotten more game time to develop his game. That's what we don't understand is if Hudson-Odoi wants to be that guy that you all seem to think he's going to be, he has got to be a week in, week out starter for at least a year to develop all those things you can't develop in training. So
that's why I had to pay for a loan deal for him.
I don't necessarily think he has to be starting week in, week out, but he's got to be willing to learn. That's the main thing. He's got to, because like we've seen it with Foden, where he didn't play week in, week out, but he was willing to learn. And now he's benefiting from it. Whereas with Hudson-Odoi, it's the same thing where he's got to be willing to learn. If he's not willing to put in the hours and willing to learn, then it ain't going to work out for him.
It needs to be an integration. It needs to be an integration. Like Foden, everyone's talking about how great Foden is. He's only started 16 Premier League games this season, so it's been a slow integration into the side.
He's still been mad.
He's not been starting every week.
But that's mad. Like, he's been as good as he's been with 16 starts. Fucking hell.
But like oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying CFC Holic saying let's sell Pulisic then. It's a bit easier said than done with his injury record because of the amount that Chelsea would probably want for him, especially signing him for 58 million. I don't think they recoup that transfer value on him right now just based on the amount of injuries that he's had for Chelsea. So I just don't think it's that feasible.
Just from a purely off-the-field financial point of view, keeping Pulisic at the club for as long as possible is a good idea.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing with Son at, or a similar thing with Son at Tottenham, where financially speaking, it's a good thing for us. Like, I was watching a MLS like podcast thing, and they were talking about most of the like big pubs or whatever in America are all either City or Chelsea based, like Chelsea fans, because of either Pulisic or Stefan.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a
Fucking
good
hell,
idea.
fair enough.
What, does Stefan have talent like that?
That I didn't realize. Yeah, I was
He
about
plays
to
for
ask.
City. It's just because he plays for City and he's the US men's national team.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
I don't want to speak for Jester, but like, I don't think Stefan has that kind of pull really in the
No,
States.
it's more because he's playing for City. It's more
Right.
because of
Yeah.
that.
No, there's definitely talk. There's definitely talk about him like through like ESPN and shit like that, where they're like, oh, we've got 2 Americans in the Champions League final. But as far as clout goes, Pulisic is that guy over here.
But that's why I say, in terms of the financial basis, like keep him, because that can get a lot of money, which can be put back into the club, into like the transfer budget and stuff like that. So
And
at least it's
I bought his kit. I bought his kit.
Exactly.
I have 3 of them.
Exactly. Just keep him, because financially speaking, it's a good deal for us. Until we can recoup what we paid for him, or it's viable for us to sell him without losing a lot of money, then we'll just keep him.
Yeah. That's all correct. I want to say he has the number 2 selling kit in the world right now.
Jesus Christ.
Jeez.
That's true.
Behind
hell.
Messi. Behind Messi.
That's got to be in America, but it can't be in the whole world.
Yeah,
in
that's
general.
probably just
Seriously.
Yeah.
We
you
buy
know
a
how
lot
many
of kit.
people are
We
in
buy a lot of
America?
kits over here.
Yeah.
You know what? It's smart, bro. Honestly, from a business
We've got a big
perspective,
fan base.
saying that.
Well, I'm gonna Google
Small club, isn't it?
that. I'd love it.
It could be in,
All of that.
America.
Yes,
could-
Liz.
I'm just, this is secondhand knowledge that I learned a while back. Of course, I've slept since then. So it could be North America. It could be for Nike, because I think Barcelona's a Nike.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
could
could
be,
be, so it could be one of those things. I'm just trying to remember exactly what was said, but he's up there. And for somebody that's not the main player on a team, you can see the type that you can see the other reason he was brought in. 1 for talent, 2 for the clout for the club, because that's the only way you're going to get bigger is to have players that are recognized in big countries. And
To add to your point as well, Jester, like in terms of like these younger players that we always keep talking about either being not consistent or not showing their full potential just yet, don't you think the bottleneck in our team is the fact that we keep interchanging managers, we keep changing formations with these managers, we keep saying then we have to loan these players out, we then keep actually putting bottlenecks everywhere for these players just to get a fair opportunity, and then we sell them to these teams. They give them, all they do is give them game time. They realize their potential, and now suddenly we want these players back. I'm like, what? At what point do we learn a lesson and say, actually, you know what? Let's do this ourselves now, because it's clearly there to see. What we've done with Mason Mount is a great example of this, where we've given him game time and he's proven to be someone of great value to us. I'm like, we can do the same thing with Hudson-Odoi. We can do the same thing with Pulisic. Pulisic was someone that was given a great opportunity at Dortmund and realized his potential. And right now, he's still a young player, despite what everyone is saying and saying write him off and everything. The bottleneck is there for us to see. It's the team. It's not these individual players themselves all the time.
That's the business model, though. It's like you get them cheap, you get them through the academy, you loan them out, you develop them, you sell them and make a profit. Like, yeah, obviously as fans, we want to see guys from the academy come through, but Mount benefited to a certain extent from the transfer ban. Like, who's to say if we didn't have that ban that he would have stayed and not been loaned out to a Premier League club that year?
But he realized he realized an opportunity. Do you see what I mean, though? Like, I get what you're saying. The transfer ban 100% helped in that opportunity being there. But imagine if he's been given that opportunity and he messes it up, he's easily one of those players that is loaned out again and then told you're not going to make it here. But the fact of the matter is he's grabbed the opportunity from one season to the other. First season was pretty darn good. And then this second season, he's been our stand-up player by far.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all well and good, but Chelsea is not a big name in the world. Okay, if you put it next to Man U, even though they're a banter club at this point, they still have a huge fan base.
United are the biggest club in the world,
and they derive a lot of revenue because of that. Chelsea don't have that, so the way they supplemented that, the business plan was, we make an awesome academy and we loan players out or sell them. Because it's pure profit, and that's the way we've been able to build these teams in recent memory or in the last 10 years, let's just say, that have actually won trophies. So we might not like it, but it's actually worked for us. So when it stops
in the
working,
financial
then we can
sense.
complain.
In the financial sense, I agree.
In every sense. In every sense. You got trophies in the
I wouldn't
cabinet.
say it worked for us on the pitch, because let's be frankly honest, when you look at some of the players that are leading in different clubs right now, they've all been at Chelsea at some point. And it's like, what the hell have we done by not recognizing these players? Kevin De Bruyne, Salah, Lukaku, you can literally carry on with names. And right now we're in the same sort of predicament where we have players like Tomori, Mason Mount, so on and so forth. And it's like, with some of them, we're recognizing and giving them opportunities, whereas with others, we're just not giving them an opportunity. Tammy Abraham being one of them, that is the latest person that has just been bottlenecked.
But you act like those players were that when we got rid of them.
Yeah,
They were
I
not.
think that's the problem.
But you see, yeah, they weren't
Like,
that, and we needed to bring in a piece to win a title. So you have to.
Like some of the players we sell as well, you never know. Like you don't, when you just look at them. Like let's take Mo Salah. We talked about him earlier. When he was at Chelsea, he was terrible. Like he was awful. Went to Italy, to Fiorentina, and to Roma, and honed himself. Came back and was a much better player. But when we sold him, he was awful. It was
for what we paid. I agree. Yeah,
it was awful. And like you can look at that. Like De Bruyne should have had more time, yes. But then you look at it and go, you look at like say Tammy, who he's still got so much to work on. And yes, he is fairly young, but he still has a lot to work on. And we could sell him and he could become amazing. But then it's taking that chance. Where do you want to take that chance and be where Liverpool were, where they weren't getting top four for years upon years upon years, or they weren't doing anything for years?
Cool.
Just develop a couple players that may or may not make it. It's a double-edged sword. Whereas we don't develop players enough, but we could try and develop players that just aren't good enough, and we end up like stopping ourselves from getting where we could be if we were out to go and do big business.
Cool. So the rebuttal for that is then look at this. So are you happy with us as a team then spending some crazy amount of money on players that are being given opportunities by other clubs, and literally then they come to flop at our club? And I can name God knows how many players that we've played over the odds for, and literally it's just not fully worked out for us. So from a financial point of view, I get what you guys are saying. It's a business model that's worked for us by loaning these players out, and some of them that don't make it, we just sell them on. But the fact of the matter is, at some point we need to do a better job at recognizing the ones that are actually of value to us and actually integrating them into the team. The reason why this keeps happening is, let's be frankly honest, we want to win stuff, but we're doing it at a short-term cost. So what we're saying is we want to win shit now, but then 5 years, 10 years from now, our squad is worse off for it, not better off for it. So at what point are we actually going to be like, nah, fam, we need to actually start looking at some of these players individually and see what we're trying to do as a team and actually keep a hold of these players, because I'm tired of it. I'm tired of losing players and actually they turn up for other teams, and it's because we didn't give them the opportunity. Even if at the time we didn't necessarily see that this is what they would have turned out into, how are we going to know if we never give them the chance in the first place? And to me, that's what I'm talking about. Mason Mount is a great example of this, bro. Imagine we didn't give this kid a chance. Imagine. And now he would have ended up somewhere else and then suddenly been one of the top dogs. What the fuck? Like, are we going to say, like, this is something that we continuously want to be part of, or are we going to fight back and say, actually, nah, it's not worth it in the long term?
Well, there's a couple of those guys. So like De Bruyne and Lukaku, for instance, like both those guys asked to leave. So De Bruyne realized, Josie told him, hey, look, I've got Oscar playing here. I've got guys in this position that I'm going to be playing. So he said, okay, you play them. I'd like to go. Lukaku, similar situation. We were buying strikers. He had a chance to leave to go to Everton. He asked, okay, I'd like to go. Now, for instance, guys who are playing right now for clubs like Bamford or Traore or guys like that, they're at those clubs because those clubs can afford to take a chance with them. They were not the level to Chelsea. Let's be honest. If you would take Patrick Bamford over anybody we have right now, you're crazy.
No. I never mentioned about. I get what you're saying.
But that's then you got to like come with some players that you're talking about, because guys who were let go out of the academy or were sent on numerous loans and never did anything on loan. Bertrand Traore went on several loans, didn't really do anything on loan. Bamford, several loans, didn't do anything on loan. when they actually got to these lower mid-table clubs who have an opportunity to give them a chance to play, they've done better. But I mean, that's not Chelsea. Chelsea are not that level. So we're always looking to improve the roster. And there's not a guy that we've sent out on loan or sold recently that I would take over any of the guys on the current roster right now. I
think as well with that. Go on, Oscar.
Yeah, I'd slightly disagree. I agree with Mo because I think the level that we're at now as a club, it's borderline embarrassing that we had John Terry come through, and after John Terry, we went like 15 years without a single academy player coming through. Even the top clubs that fight for honours, your Bayern Munichs, your Barcelonas, your Man Uniteds, they always have academy players breaking through the side. For me, once Chelsea started winning Premier Leagues and we won the Champions League, we sort of crossed the line. And the next step for Chelsea, in my eyes, is to create a dynasty, create a team that goes on and wins 3 Premier Leagues in a row, challenges for the Champions League, tries to win it two times in 5 years, similar to like Real Madrid have had. The only way we're going to do that is if we have an elite team that is built to last for years. As Mo was saying, the current method that we're doing isn't sustainable. And for those of us that are saying, oh, let's go out and buy players, let's not act like we haven't bought Pulisic and we're giving him a year to bed into the team to become Christian Pulisic. Havertz is here to become Kai Havertz. Those guys ain't ready yet. They're not ready to win us a league title right now. That's why we're lying in 4th place. Timo Werner, etc. So I don't have an issue with giving time to a Mason Mount and to a Callum Hudson-Odoi because the players that I'm buying for 60, 40, 70 million, I'm giving them time anyway. They're not ready now anyway.
That's true.
Arteta saying just need to stick with a coach for a few years and let them build a team with their philosophy. I think Tuchel is that coach. We are a few pieces away. Do you feel like that's a big reason for it because of how much you've been hiring and firing managers as well? You bring in a new manager with an instant target to take the club up to the top. They can't really trust inexperienced young players, which is why we haven't seen youth players be given a serious chance until we had the transfer ban, until we had Frank Lampard in the job.
I think it comes down to kind of something I was going to touch on where it's like it's different systems. Like with the people Josh mentioned, it's like, particularly with Bamford, he's in a system where it might not be focused solely on like built around him, but he is a big part of how they play football in terms of he's the main striker, so they're always putting the ball in situations where they know he's going to score. They're not going to make him, put him in a position where he's got to beat 5 man if he can't do that. They'll put it where he's got to win a header or something or stuff like that. And I think if you're looking at the top clubs, very few of them are built around one player, unless that player is like a Lionel Messi or a Ronaldo level or Lewandowski. And because we haven't really got that player, I don't think you can do that. And so I think it's then asking the academy players to come in and adapt to different systems. And if they're ultimately not good enough to do that, like they might be brilliant, but if they're not good enough to adapt to different systems, it's just not going to work. Because if they are very good in one system, but they can't play in the system we've got with the manager we've got, which touched on what Artem said, where it's like you're going from playing under Conte to playing under Sarri, where it was you're going from defensive football to try and play progressive football. If as a player you can't play progressive football, you're used to defensive counter-attacking, it's just not going to work. You can't adapt yourself, or it takes a lot of time to adapt yourself.
All right, Scott, let me ask this question then, sorry. And this question I have for you is then, do you think that's one of the things that sometimes we complain about as Chelsea fans is sometimes our players don't get what it means to play for Chelsea, like they don't get the passion, they don't get what the club is about, what we want from them, etc. Do we have a complaint about that at times?
I honestly, in my opinion, I think that's nonsense. I don't care if they play for the badge or if they can play for the badge. Like, also, this touch on what I say with Oscar, I would disagree with your point that a lot of the big clubs, or like the challenging clubs, have players coming through. Like Real Madrid haven't, or if they did, it's a similar situation to what we do, where they'll go to another team and they'll just buy them back. Like Bayern Munich, I can't really remember that many players Bayern have bought through, bar the last couple of years because they've had to, because their transfer policy's been dog shit. Barcelona and Ajax are the main two. Bar that, like United only had to because of injuries. City, Foden is the first one in God knows how. Like, I don't remember the last one, bar Foden. Like,
yeah, but City are new money. City is similar to Chelsea. They're new money. So we're coming in. We're buying the best players. But the long-standing top-tier clubs, they always have people coming from their academy in their squads.
Do they?
Always. Always.
Bar Barcelona and Ajax, I genuinely can't like.
Manchester United always, even when they were winning
They're
leagues,
not top
look
team.
at the quality of people they're bringing through.
No, but guys,
But we are.
They
But
are
Oscar, we've done that. We've done that. We're doing that with Reece James.
yeah, and I'm
We've done
saying
it
we
with
should
Mason
stick
Mount.
with it. Chris, what I'm saying is,
Yeah, but
those players, we should stick with those players. That's my point.
Yeah,
And
especially
to say Man United haven't done it is disingenuous, man. We know
they
their
have,
history.
but again,
We know.
you look at the quality of player they're bringing through. Then we're starting to talk about quality, where it's Chong, not good enough. McTominay, dreadful. Rashford, we've already said he's overrated. Like William.
No, you said he's overrated.
I say
Fair enough.
Rashford
he
is a
doesn't
full
go
watch.
James.
Rashford's an incredible player, man. He scored 20
What
goals
about
this
Greenwood?
season. We'd be
No,
begging
he's
for a
on front
Rashford.
watch. He's on front watch, Rashford, after last night.
One in like 12 or whatever it is, or 10.
Look,
like
You can't
I agree
have
you
one of
need
the
to bring
best.
people through. I
Yeah.
agree, but I think you go too far with this. It's about having the balance. And you go too far where you try and bring every player through, and it's not going to work because they're not all good enough. But you
Of
can't go
course.
the other way, which is what we've done too much, where it's you don't bring anyone through because
Bro,
then you will have the cracks come through. You will have the people like the De Bruynes or like I don't know who, but like those type of players, they'll miss out. Because
My problem with Chelsea is the players that we are currently buying now are not far and away better than our academy players.
Yes,
Reece
they
James-
are.
I would disagree.
How can you say that? Look, based on this season, what we've seen this season, how can you honestly tell me that?
Well, because you're just basing it on one season. Number
Okay,
one.
based on last season.
Okay, and this is a weird year. Everybody wants to say COVID didn't affect anything, but it absolutely did. No preseason. One of the players you brought through had it really bad, but you're talking about people whose job it is to recognize talent. And Kai Havertz is recognized as one of the best talents in Europe, period. So, and Timo Werner, whether you like him or not, is still recognized as one of the best talents in Europe.
Okay.
You cannot compare that to somebody playing under 23 football and going, well, this person's comparable to this under 23 football.
Well, Jester, who are they recognized by? When you said Havertz and Timo Werner recognized, who are they recognized by?
Every team in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. And those are top teams that are looking at their players. But don't we have players people within our team that are looking at our youth academies? Our youth academy is consistently winning trophies, consistently competing at the top level. Surely we can cherry pick the one or two great players in those sides and bring them into our squad. Reece James is an example. Mason Mount is an example.
Yeah,
Also,
but
we've got at least
we
6
still
guys.
complain that we don't get all of them in. And that's the
I'm
thing where we
not
also have to take into
asking for
account.
11 academy players. That's not my point.
No one's
But
asking
we've
for
got-
that.
we've got at least-
And I want us to understand that part. But what we're saying is we gotta, like me and Oscar on the same pod of saying, when we see quality and when we see there's a value there that we can invest in, we need to be doing that. We don't need to be necessarily sending them out on loan or saying that they're not good enough without giving them a fair chance. That is my biggest issue.
You cannot go from under 23 to the Premier League. You have to go out on loan.
No, but you
guys,
also the worst case scenario. You lot mentioned Bamford and these lot, yeah? No one, I'm not mentioning Bamford. It's very clear to see what Bamford was at the beginning, that he wasn't someone that was going to be good enough for Chelsea. But you can't tell me that you didn't look at someone like Lukaku or Kevin De Bruyne or other players that we've had in the past and tell me that there wasn't something there to invest in. Because
the thing is, though,
You're correct, but that was the manager at the time, Mourinho.
Which is what my point is.
That was Mo's first point.
I distanced Lukaku and De Bruyne from our academy because they didn't come from our academy.
No, they did.
Came from Anderlecht and Game.
It's a result of the same problem. I agree.
Yeah,
they didn't come from our academy. They're not academy boys.
What I would say
it's the talent ID, the scouting, and looking at these young players and saying, you know what? If we nurture this kid, he's going to be great one day. Instead of just going, all right, let's sell him, and then 3 years later, everyone's like, "Oh, let's buy Lukaku back for 80 million." Yeah, we have Lukaku.
What I would say is, I
him.
agree with Jester's point in terms of they need a loan, but it should be 1 or 2. And I think this is the problem where, like someone mentioned it, Guay. I want to see him come back and be involved in the team now. If we're if the rumor about us getting rid of Zoom is true, fine, cool, and we're not bringing in a centre back, I want Guay to come back and be involved.
I agree.
He had a great season at Swansea, especially if they get promoted. Man of the match performance in the second leg, I think it was, against Barnsley. Against a very informed striker, completely nullified him. So that's where I'd say I want Guehi involved.
Spot on,
So
spot. But then when
loans, I agree with the point. You can't just go from under 23s to thing, but 1 or 2 loans max. None of this fucking Piazon with his 9 loans or whatever it was. Like fucking hell, that would kill you as a player as well. Going from Portugal to Cyprus.
We currently have 6 guys in our first team who are from the academy. Like there's a lot of teams you can't. It's hard to count. There's not a lot of big teams that have that many guys in their first team.
I don't want to overdo it either. I don't want to overdo it.
There's people that are currently saying, let's buy this midfielder to replace Mount. Let's buy this guy to replace Callum Hudson-Odoi. The numbers we already sold Tomori. And Tomori was an Italian. It's okay, but he's on his way out. I think. Anyway. If Tomori was an Italian centre back that rose up and had a great season in the Champions League next year, everyone would be like, "Oh, why don't we get this kid Tomori?" It's like he was from our flipping academy, and Guehi is the same. Guehi went to the Championship, had a great loan, just like Tomori. What me and Mo are saying is there's a plan for the future, and we want to see Chelsea become one of the biggest teams in the world. And in order to do that, we have to understand that not every young player needs to be sold because they're not ready to be a starter right now.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Into the team.
Yeah.
Well, then you got to buy the club because that's Roman's thing. He wants to win now, not later.
No, Roman.
Roman wants sustainability as well. He's wanted sustainability since 2012.
He knows it's bigger. The long game is more money for him. The long game is better than the short game.
He doesn't need the money. He made $2 billion this year. He's up to $17 billion.
Okay, but
he doesn't need Chelsea to make money. He wants to win trophies.
Fair enough, but he wants the dynasty, though. Roman has always said that. He wants the whole thing. He doesn't want us to win 1 Premier League and then lose 3 in a row. Like, he wants us to win 4, 5, or 6. So we need to find a sustainable model because right now we don't have it.
But right now we do need the experience to come in because we do have a lot of youngsters in our squad. We have a lot.
Big up Europa as well, saying this is Chelsea Football Club, not Dortmund or Leicester. We should sign world-class winners. This is not an under-23 or under-18s league. I don't think anyone's saying anything different, though. We're agreeing to get experience, but it's also to build up the youth around it while we can.
But these clubs also...
I think we're doing that, though, aren't we?
Become more
we're trying to build the foundation, basically, the foundation that sustainability is for a longer term.
I've got something to tell you guys, by the way.
Go on, Wayne.
Well, because obviously Scott mentioned it, and obviously Oscar as well. Mark Gay, I've been fairly informed by my source that Tuchel's a very big fan of him, and he wants him to next season to be part of the squad.
As well, has anyone seen like the clip of, I think it was like a couple of years ago, this penalty? It's like no step penalty or whatever it was. Get him taking penalties. The confidence that kid has taking penalties is nuts.
Is that when he was leaning down to grab the ball and he just kicked it in?
Yeah, he was like kind of making out he's going to take a step back and then just punted it. Just like literally side-footed it into the goal.
Well, that's great. I think you bring him in and then you could take a guy like Willian and loan him out for another year and let him get a Premier League loan or a Championship loan. Because I think Willian will be a world-class center back once he gets his legs back under him. But Guehi's earned a chance to be with the first team next year for sure.
Especially, as I said, if Swansea get promoted as well, and he's been a massive part of that, then he absolutely deserves a chance.
And that's why tomorrow
I'm definitely not against loans. I'm definitely not against loans, by the way.
It's about going too far, though. I think what you're saying is like what you and Mo are saying is right. It's like you can't. It's about having a balance, and you can't go too far with like loaning or selling out every player like constantly. But you can't just go. We're going to have this many players just come straight into the first 11. We had to do it with the transfer ban because we had no other choice. And as we've seen, Reece, Mount, and to a bit of a lesser extent, Gilmore have stepped up, but others didn't or didn't as much. And that's where we now have to go and get the experienced players from abroad, and we have to bring players in to fill those positions that didn't work.
Yeah, Paul's saying, let's also be honest, if it weren't for the transfer ban, literally Mount, Tammy, Reece and Gilmore wouldn't be all part of the squad. I would I'd take Reece James out of that because he's always been looked at as Aspie's successor. Mason Mount as well, because the hype that he was having before even Lampard and the transfer ban, I do feel like he would have been given a bit of a chance. The rest, nah. I agree with you on that. Tammy, Gilmore, Tamori, for example, none of them would really be seeing a lot of game time if it wasn't for the transfer ban. But Mount and Reece James, I still think would have found their way into the squad. Artem as well saying Tuchel will give youngsters chances. He did it at PSG and Dortmund. Transfer ban worked out in the end because it showed how much talent we had in the academy. Like, he's already been giving young players chances, so I don't really expect him not to either. And if he is going to get the extension as well, like, we're going to continue on the model that we started with Frank Lampard, except we're going to be a bit more flexible in our formations as well. That's going to be the only difference. But I still expect to see youth players getting more regularly integrated into the squad, because that's something Abramovich has wanted to see too. And Guy, I'm saying, look, everyone, Lukaku looks good in Italy, no doubt. But what about pasta league tax? People love dragging Bundesliga, so what's Serie A? Serie A is a more defensively minded league. So, but if you're an attacker that can thrive in that sort of league, I think that says something for itself too. Like, the Bundesliga is a more attacking, open league.
I'm not saying it's not true, but like, can someone give examples of like strikers that have gone from Serie A and done really well in like England or Spain? Or
I mean, we talked about him earlier. I still don't rate him, but Salah. He was
fair
shit,
enough.
and he improved thanks to the Fiorentina and Roma. That's where he honed it. People can talk about Klopp.
Yeah,
but
good
look
point.
at how he was performing for Fiorentina and Roma. He honed himself there. Also, Henry. There we go.
Henry's a bit of a.
Henry's far back, though.
Yeah, we're going back to when Italy was the best league in the world. Like, I'm talking about now.
More
Let me
recent
go find the transfers. These, like,
Are we saying just strikers, Oscar?
Yeah, I'm talking about a striker that can come to a team like Chelsea and score 20 plus goals in the Premier League.
Ibra.
He didn't come directly from Italy, though.
That's fair.
But he did have stints there, though, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, even if they went to Spain or if they went somewhere else, but just a bona fide top tier striker that came from Italy.
I don't understand that this Lukaku's coming, more than likely, because Conte is gone, and that's what was keeping him in Inter. So Lukaku, if you're asking us for a clinical number 9, who's going to be, and you can bet on it, bet on Lukaku coming.
Well,
it's not going to be Haaland. It's not going to be Kane.
You got to think too, like Inter play a very defensive style of football, so a lot of his strikes and goals were like open play, 1-on-1, counterattack striking. So, like, you know, obviously the clinical ability has to be there to be able to finish those kinds of opportunities. I mean, I have a ton of confidence in Lukaku if we can bring him in.
All I'm going to say, guys, is that I told you so. I remember I told you all that he was coming here. Told you that I knew, my source said to me he was coming, and I knew the reason why. And I did say it to you all.
I didn't actually disbelieve you, Bruno. I didn't actually disbelieve you at that point.
I don't believe anything on the internet. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll wait till I see a player holding up a shirt.
Yeah.
I've
been burned too many times.
But we are bringing in Chouameni too. Is that right, Agent Molds?
Don't know who else we're bringing. I know that there's loads of people are looking at, but I know Lukaku's the only one they knew definitely that he'd be coming down through the.
I read this morning. Rice is the primary target, and then if they can't get Rice, it's Tchouameni or Weigl.
Could be both.
Yeah,
the Weigl one that sends me. I'll be honest.
I'd prefer
I've been
Tchouameni.
thinking about centre mid. What we all been talking about centre mid. Most of them been saying in France, but there's been a midfielder that I was thinking about, and the only problem is I know we're going to be outpriced, but I would love him at Chelsea. It's Thomas Souček.
Oh yeah, no chance it happens. So we're already talking about 80 mil for Declan Rice.
Yeah, it's going to be something similar.
For anybody.
But Weigl is a good shout because he's played with Tuchel before.
Yeah.
Chouameni's a good shout because we have sources out of France saying it's pretty much a done deal.
The price tag
well,
the price tag is definitely good, isn't it?
It's like 34 million euros. I want to say. I don't know.
Something between 30 and 35.
And also remember this: it's going to depend who gets Inter Milan's coaching job.
Because Simone Inzaghi.
Inzaghi.
Simone Inzaghi. That's enough done.
There's a
That's
couple
enough
of
time.
candidates.
The thing is, they've already, like Fabrizio Romano's already said with Inter, they have to sell 80 million euros worth of players.
Yep.
So that sounds about right for Lukaku.
I can't lie. I would see Lukaku go. I would see Christian Eriksen gone as well. Maybe Ashley Young. Maybe
Martinez.
Alexis.
Will stay.
Ashley
just 'cause I don't
Young,
see
no,
him
they
leaving.
barely get anything for him anyway. Oh no, Watford are
Ashley
meant
Young
to
will
be.
leave. Ashley Young's might leave on a free. That's the thing, is his deal's up at the end of the year.
That's why Emerson is tabbed to go the other way to Milan.
The other big one for them that might leave is Hakimi.
What do you think about Martinez? You think he'll
Lautaro
stay?
I don't think
Martinez.
Martinez will leave unless City come in for him, because if Lukaku leaves, he'll be the main striker. He'll be the main
Yeah,
guy.
I can't lose both of them.
Guys, if we sign Lukaku, we lose Tammy, we lose Giroud. Are we buying a backup?
We'll have
Don't
Werner as a
have
backup
to.
unless
You
we
don't-
play a two-striker formation. We'll have not
We
Tammy,
know, and
Well-
Kai Havertz can play strike.
Yeah. Maybe you bring an academy guy in to be that third guy, maybe.
Broha.
Mitchie.
Hey, we got to do something with him.
Michi needs to go, man, for his own sake, bro.
He needs to go
Yeah,
play
for
football
sanity.
somewhere, man.
Yeah,
Also, his attitude with Palace this season has been dog shit. So I'm good.
His
It
attitude.
could be. It could
His
be.
attitude is shit.
It
Like,
could be Iki
his
Akabo.
attitude is horrible. He's come out in interviews and just like criticised Roy Hodgson. Just right while he was away with Belgium the last international break. Someone asked him about it, and he just came out and said, "I can't remember what he said, but he had a go at Roy Hodgson for not playing him as much."
Let me find the direct quote.
bad.
I think it could be Iki Akabo.
So what's he going to do if he doesn't get game time? He's going to throw his toys out the pram.
And
We
we
could
have been
have-
linked to
He
a
needs to
goal.
go play football, man. He needs to leave Chelsea, man. Let him go play football.
We have
We're
been
going to
linked to
have
a
Iki
goalkeeper.
Akabo, by the way, guys, because
Who?
he's still a Chelsea player.
Who's that?
Akabo.
Donnarumma?
UKBO. I can't say his name, but
Ike Ugbo.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're selling him on a permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah, Batshuayi said that Roy Hodgson doesn't trust him. He said, "I get a breath of renewed come into the national team because it's very hard for me at my club. The coach, members, and the system are different from that at Palace. With the Red Devils, I feel a lot of trust from the coach, trust that I don't get at Palace." And then Hodgson
Speak
said,
back.
"Anytime a player who's not getting a game here and is obviously unhappy not getting a game here, I fully expect that when he goes away with the national team, especially if he plays and does very well, to get the question what's going wrong." And he said, then you expect him to say the type of things Michi said. "If after 45 years I didn't expect that I'll come to terms with it, I would have been living in a different world." But he also told him to be a bit careful about it because playing 60 minutes against Belarus and scoring 1 of 8 goals isn't quite the same as if he comes on against Everton. And helps with the
Oh my god!
Oh, no.
Hey, man, like Roy Hodgson.
Hey, that is a burial.
That's a KO, bro.
Yeah, that's deep still. Mad.
Yeah.
Roy Hodgson's on violence, but yeah, we're
It's over for that guy.
So, yeah, there is still Donnarumma links because he is leaving on a free.
No, he'll go Juve. He'll go Juve.
We're still linked to him. Whether he goes to Juve or comes to Chelsea, we're linked with him.
Juve need a new goalkeeper. They'll go.
Yeah.
Do we link with
Buffon.
Donnarumma.
Donnarumma.
Yeah, the only thing with Donnarumma is he just, especially with his agent, it's like he's just going to be a money guy. He's going to go where
Do you hear that AC Milan are going to save about 50 million euros from bringing in what's his name, Magnon or however you pronounce it?
Mangan.
Magnon. Yeah,
I think
bringing him over Donnarumma, they're saving themselves 50 million euros. So imagine if we signed him on with the agent fees and everything, because he's coming on a free contract too. He ain't worth it. Plus, we have Edouard Mendy. I've got no reason to want him anymore.
But we
How
do
is Donnarumma
need
now?
to get a third keeper in.
21, 22.
Donnarumma ain't going to be third or second goalkeeper.
No.
Yeah, he's going to start.
And
Donnarumma
as
would
soon as
start.
anything goes
whether you
bad,
like it or
No,
he's
he has
exactly
to
the
earn
same
it
player
though.
to
No,
pick up the bucks.
Donnarumma will have to earn it.
If you're bringing in Mino Raiola's client, he's starting or he's
Yeah.
not coming. It's going to be a guarantee.
Well, then he probably won't be coming.
contract.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just
Good.
telling
Cool.
you. You don't bring him in.
Who be your
Because-
PSG for him?
Let me say this: if we win Champions League and Mendy's like obviously starting in that Champions League final and has a good final again, like he did in the semi-final, why would we actually try to replace him?
We're not trying. He's leaving for 4 to 6 weeks next year for AFCON.
Oh fuck!
We have to bring another keeper in for 4 to 6
Exactly.
weeks.
I can't be having
yeah.
Kefri
Still
on
won't be
for 4 to 6
Donnarumma,
weeks.
though.
Wait,
No,
are you
I-
serious? AFCON was 46 weeks.
Oh, I'm
4
not having
weeks.
Kefri
Yeah,
on for 4 to
January.
6 weeks.
But yeah,
They'll be out early. They'll be out
He
early.
plays for Senegal. Senegal are going to go far as well, you'd assume.
Yep.
So he's going to be gone for the
probably
maximum
wouldn't.
amount of time. Shit.
I read this.
Oh,
I read this
God.
morning that the club told Kepa they're going to work hard to get him a new club this summer. So
Good.
he'll be gone most
To be
likely.
fair, if he leaves, who would you get as like a backup?
Areola.
It's so
Yeah,
annoying.
that's a good shout.
You know, after this tournament, they're moving the African Nations Cup so that it doesn't collide with the league anymore.
Yay.
They are.
Yeah,
It's so dumb to have them mid-season.
Yeah,
Nah,
because
nah,
Africa,
there's a reason
so
for
hot
it.
in the
because
summer.
Yeah, you got Africa. You don't have 4 seasons there. You have a rainy season and a dry season. You do it in the summer. That's in that hot ass dry season, and it's no. Summer will be the rainy season anyway, depending on the country. So they just have to. I think they have to do it like Eastern Africa, and I think they'd be fine.
Do you know where it's at? The tournament?
What, this one?
This is. Let me
one
check.
sec. I just had it up.
2021. Cameroon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so as long as they don't have it during the dry season, it should be fine for the players because they physically can't be able to play in those sorts of conditions. That would be a madness.
Can I ask you a quick question? Would you bring Ben Foster in?
No.
Ben Foster.
As a
What? Just so you
backup?
can vlog and
Yeah,
steal
as a
my job?
backup.
Can't be arsed.
I'll tell you what.
We need
I'll tell
somebody
you
in
what, Wayne.
we need somebody in the mold of Mendy, big, tall, long. We
Someone
do
who-
best.
yeah,
We
I'll
do
be
best with a
tempted.
long keeper.
Because he's got relegated. I'd be tempted to go
I'll
to
tell you
Southampton.
what. I don't mind our football director comes out from the retirement, get a flipping glove from his
Yeah.
office, play for the next 4 weeks. That's what I
No.
want.
No.
Play Petr Cech, yes. We need to play him.
There's no reason for Petr Cech to get out of a suit to get into a kit.
Hey, he's
Really
actually a player of the squad right now. He's a player.
Yeah. Play
That's a
first
gimmick.
squad.
Let's be right. That's a gimmick.
No, he's a player-manager. Player/manager.
He is that's a gimmick. He was never going to play in a game unless everybody came down with COVID.
Yeah. That's yeah. If it came down to it, Cech would actually play because he's actually signed as a player because you can do it. He's
Again.
training.
As Papa says, please take Leno.
He played for the under 21.
No, thank you. I would rather have Cech play.
No, we're all right. We're all
They
right.
sold Martinez for that guy as well.
We
Yeah,
make
I think
I'm sure
I
everyone
think
said that about
Areola makes
Bruce in
Areola makes a
2018.
ton of sense.
Yep. He's got a house in London. He's
Yeah.
he would get him for about 18
Areola.
million pound.
Yeah, he ain't going to play
So-
for PSG. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd actually be
The other
good
one I'd take because I
competition
think
as well.
he'd be cheap. And with that whole English quota thing is Sam Johnston. Because he'd be cheap because they just got relegated.
Yeah, but we knocked the English quotient. I mean, that's
more
not
just
an
being
issue
sure.
for us.
It's more just being sure, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But is it
players, don't
I remember watching an interview of Areola where he went to Fulham and he was really happy because he got to play. I don't know if he wants to be a backup goalkeeper.
Well, that's going to be his lot in life.
He can play for 4 weeks.
Maybe a cup keeper. It would be just
Either
like
way,
Kepa this
like,
year.
We're either
You
going to
know
have
what?
to go and get someone who's already a backup, and if they're already a backup, it's going to have to be from a club that's as good or better than us. If they're already a backup, or we're going to have to go and get someone who's a first choice keeper at a lower club that is going to be calm being a bench goalkeeper.
Let's buy De Gea as a backup.
Yeah.
Offer him
I'm
300K a week.
350K a week. No,
Nah. He'd be a 100K a
a
week.
single penalty.
Man haven't saved a penalty for 5 years.
Bro, he's conceded 36 penalties. I'm good.
And I don't want Henderson either because that dude is just as fraudulent. Because if you can't get it,
You know how they ain't getting rid of Henderson yet? They're not getting rid of him.
they're going to get rid of one of them.
Yeah, it'd be De Gea.
He'll beat De Gea.
Yeah.
You know what? I
harder to
do
sell
feel
De
sorry
Gea.
for De Gea. I do feel sorry as De Gea. He was loyal to Man United. Now a lot of Man United fans saying get De Gea out of the club when he stuck by when he could have gone to Real Madrid. I feel for him.
So who's easier to get rid of, De Gea or Henderson?
De
De
Gea.
Gea.
If they're smart, De Gea.
Hey.
If they're dumb, then
No,
It'd be
who's
easier to get rid of
easier to get rid of?
Henderson.
Henderson.
That's who's going.
No,
Can't-
we won't
yeah,
go.
De Gea's on 350k a week. Like, it's not going to be
Yeah.
easy getting rid of
You
him.
ain't moving that contract. Not
Yeah,
now.
but look. Remember they removed Sanchez, 500k a week. Come on, they can do it.
They let
If
him
they
go on a
removed
free.
Sanchez, yes,
Mara's
and
saying
like
White,
they can let De Gea go on a free pretty much.
He's
I'd
good.
take White.
Even the Bravo.
What about-
Newcastle.
What about
Yeah,
Belgium?
Dubravka's a quality keeper.
Or,
What about
to be fair,
some-
Darlow as well was as a banging keeper as well.
Who?
Darlow, their backup.
Who?
Cole
What
Darlow
about-
was banging this season.
Oh,
like,
Cole Darlow. Oh,
Darlow, yeah.
yeah.
What about Sommi?
I don't know how
What
he's
about
with Sommi.
Sommi?
Say that again, Wayne.
Munchback
Oh, what,
keeper
Sommer?
from yeah.
He
Jan
won't,
Sommer.
like, as
Jan
a backup,
Sommer.
he won't come. He won't
He
come
won't
as a
come.
backup.
How old is he anyway?
I don't
You
know.
could get Berkey
That guy's been around for
because
years.
he's going. I think he's going on the summer.
Is he?
Only 32
Yeah,
years old. Okay.
They play hits a lot at the minute, don't they? For some
Well,
reason.
they're actually in a market for a keeper. Dortmund is. So you could see Berkey leaving. Berkey's an adequate backup for 4 to 6
Oh, yeah,
weeks.
they're getting
Cup
hoping, aren't they?
games.
Yeah, there was some Ter Stegen to
Do you
Dortmund
guys
talk for a little
think we're
bit.
selling both our left back?
I hope
Yes.
so.
You
What,
and me
and
both.
Emerson and,
I've been
um,
calling for this for years.
I don't think we'll get rid of both of them.
I think
I
we
hope
will.
we do.
I would.
If
I
we
would.
get rid
and
of both,
I
then
would
we've got to buy a new one.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
we
Van
won't.
Aanholt on a
We
free.
won't.
I'm fine with buying a new
We don't
one.
need to buy a left back. We don't need to buy a left back. We've got one, and it's Ian Matson.
Yeah, Matson. Yeah, I'm gonna say who's the academy kid.
Warren Matson.
The thing is,
Nah,
yeah,
Matt can be
That's
another one
about
who
the
needs a
past
loan
game.
deal first.
Chilwell's already like not. at
Wait,
the
would
elite,
you have?
So I wouldn't have
No.
like Matson as his backup.
You could maybe try to bring
Someone mentioned one last night. I swear on a
Because
You got Van
Chilwell won't
Aanholt.
play every game.
Sandro.
Free.
We could go make a move towards Sandro if Hoovy come in for Emerson or Alonso. You could make a move for Sandro.
Melier, Ilya Melier.
What,
Nope.
he-
I got 2 names for you. That makes sense. Van Aanholt on a free,
I'm actually quite down for that.
I'm with that. I like that.
and me and Josh's man, Anthony Robinson.
I
I'll take
actually
that as
like,
well. I'll take that as well.
I actually like Anthony
One
Robertson.
time.
Those are good
One
signs.
time.
Market
One
and see
time.
again. We'll do that.
You guys want to move? You want to move some kits or what? Let's go.
Anthony
Let's get
Robinson.
Anthony Robertson, bro. I'm down.
Hey, he's
I
in.
mean,
He,
as soon as
he
this
can
gets
play.
sold, though, we can still make our fucking marketability money and be good.
There you go.
Robinson is actually really good, man. I do rate him.
Someone's mentioned it as well. Ryan Bertrand's going this summer. Get him on the free. as
Yeah.
well.
That's not.
I mean, if you're
what
just
we
looking for a backup to play some cup
Exactly.
games, like
All you're doing is looking for a backup. Then Bertrand's a good enough backup.
Get
Van Aanholt's a
Bertrand
good
back
enough
in time for
backup.
Saturday. We'll bring the gang back together. Let's go.
Boy, that's the thing happening in it.
See,
we don't
if he
like
was fit, I would say James Justin's as well. I wouldn't mind him.
He's not going to come in here.
Nah, we're
Nah.
going to give Leicester all of our money. man.
Also,
There's no
Chilwell,
way.
If he comes in, he's starting. He's better than Chilwell. He comes in, he's starting.
What? James Justin?
Yeah, based on this season, he's better than Chilwell. Until he got injured, he was having an amazing season. So if he comes in,
I'm-
He's falling upwards, man. I swear.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, me too. I'm not going to say even further, but yeah.
that's
I just said based on
feel
this
like the
season. I
only
didn't say
downside
anything.
to
Based on this
transfers is.
season, he's had a
I'm
better
about to head
season.
off anyway, so I'll catch you later.
Yeah, bless, man.
Take it, Chris.
All right, Chris. Yeah, that's like the main downside to transfers this summer is like everything's gonna have to be wait till after the Euros. So it'll be like last minute business again
No,
or late business.
Long.
You know, if we're smart, we do it before because otherwise
Well,
you're
yeah.
just going to wait until after the Euros when everyone's price is inflated.
Yeah.
Well, then
Like
I mean, you got guys like,
French or Portuguese player is going to be double their price.
which is why Rudiger wants to wait till after Euros to talk about a new contract because he's going to be like, oh well, I did really great in the Euros. How
Oh, they're
about
going out the group
200K a week?
Let's not mess about. They're going out of the group stage.
Germany?
With Germany,
They've got France and Portugal in their group. They're going out of the group stage.
because I know.
I don't think
but
Havertz is
I
on the team
wouldn't be
either.
surprised if they
Oh,
don't.
he is. He's in the squad. He's in the.
Is he in the
26.
squad?
Yeah, he's in the 26. But yeah,
Actually,
they're going out of the
would
group stage. I guarantee.
I don't care. I know England wants to win, but if that means Mount and Reese stay fit, if they're in the, if Reese is in the squad, because there's 5 right backs in the squad right now. Let him go out early because you'd rather have your club win than, I don't know.
I think this. Well, I don't agree with Jester, but I get what you're saying because I think this year's preseason for us is going to be huge, man. We need to have a lot of our players fit and ready to go.
Yeah,
and just on.
I reluctantly agreed with you.
I don't even want Pulisic to play U.S. men's national team games. I don't want him to play anything.
You got a lot going on this summer.
Does anybody think Rudiger won't sign an extension?
Me?
No,
Really? I think he's gone.
I think he is too.
Do you think we wouldn't offer it, or do you think he wouldn't sign it?
No, I think we have offered it, and I don't think he wants to sign it.
Why wouldn't he sign
it? Because of the constant managerial changes. He doesn't like it.
And I think he wants to. I think he maybe wants to go to like Spain or something like that. Where
wasn't that what people were saying about Conte a few months ago as well?
Yeah,
he was made around the club.
Done recently.
What the thing with that is, I don't see where he'd go to. I don't see where he'd go. Like if
Barcelona,
Barcelona are going to sign Rudiger. If they are, then fucking hell, man, that club is dropped.
You know what? They probably would.
Oh,
who else they have in the back? They have nobody.
Longley, Umtiti.
PK at 30, whatever he is, PK at 40 would be better than Rudiger. Like, this is not saying Rudiger's bad, but like
Longley, Umtiti.
I just think if he was going to sign the extension, he would either do it now or he would have done it. And the way he's talking, I don't like when players are like, "Oh, well, I'm going to wait till after Euros and then we'll talk," and that means it's not on top of your mind. Like you're not considering it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he goes.
Like if he goes back to
the way he plays left center back though in a back three, so I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you would have probably 2 of them, Zuma and Rudiger, leaving because I haven't heard anything on Christensen, and then you would bring in a Varane or a Koundé as a number 1, and you would have Christensen and Gueye as your rotational backs.
I like that kid at Valencia, though, Pau Torres. He's a good center back.
He's good.
Yeah, I like him too.
Is it 4 at the back you guys are talking about, or 3?
We're gonna go back to 4.
Okay.
I just see us
wait a minute. Who we got here? Some Latimus in the house. Moving up, big time.
What up, people?
What up?
I've been listening for the past like hour.
Someone's mentioned it as well. What about Salah? Him coming back.
He was always for the loan army. He was never going to be considered. He's on a free. We're making tons of money. Why would you bring him in and not just keep him out on loan and make money?
Who's that?
Because if we bring him back and he plays, then it raises his stock.
Yeah.
You're assuming it does, but if he's just here to be playing in cup games, his stock is not going to rise.
True.
Yeah, I see another loan for him this year for sure.
Oh yeah.
Maybe when he's actually playing.
Lacroix, Sule. I don't think Sule's going to come.
Especially because no Sule. Yeah, fuck Sule. No, I do think the club have a high hopes for Umbiamba. Like I think they really rate him very highly, especially coming from Barcelona.
Malansar. What up, Malansar?
I think they'll try and push to get him in the first team quickly.
If that's the case, then he needs not even a loan. He needs a partner, and we don't have. Thiago Silva doesn't count because he's going to retire next season. But we don't have an experienced centre back who could partner him like a leader.
Well, if you bring up Brandon this year,
it's time away though. It's not like bring him in this season.
Yeah, yeah. He's just talking about he said next year he wants to be training with the first team. That's his main goal next year.
I mean, it's probably every young player's goal, but I don't know if it's realistic. Yeah.
Tamori is gone. Y'all have to get off the Tamori train. Let's get done.
Yeah, big up Rothman saying we should recall Tamori, or will Milan just buy him? Has he got a buyout fee? £28 million buyout fee, and I think they still want to try and lower it potentially.
He's their top priority. Getting him is their biggest priority this summer.
Yeah. I think that's done now, especially now they have Champions League football. That's done.
It's so crazy they want a lower fee than that. Like 28 million for a young top center back. Like they should be
28
done.
million euro, not
Yeah,
pound.
20. I speak in millions on it.
Well, everybody's saying pounds. I think it's 28 million euro as a buyout.
Yeah, euros. I got.
So it's like 25 million pound, or a
Which
little
is
bit less than 25.
which is already a steal. It's like, well, we're not lowering that.
Yeah,
That's it.
but Gueye is a lot better than Tomori.
I agree. I think so too. He's much bigger.
He's a man child.
We've got Gay and Mbuyamba coming across the ranks. That's why I'm not really too fussed about it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not too fussed about centre back in general. Unless it's a leader, I don't really care too much.
And as it's like even Salah, like we haven't seen the best of him this season, but we don't know what he could be. He was good for Nice, but we haven't seen the best of him at Porto. But we don't know what he could be. He could end up being brilliant.
He needs a loan in England.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He could end up being brilliant, and then all of a sudden, that's another player we've got, and we then don't need Tomori. So
I think like Oscar brought him up last time. Like Trevor Chalobah, like he's been really great this year for Lorient. Like
where's he? Lorient, yeah.
Lorient, yeah.
The problem with him is that he got moved. Like he's a DM and he got moved into centre back. As centre back, he has no hope of playing for Chelsea. I don't think. As a DM, just by the fact we're in need of a DM right now, I feel like potentially there could be something there, but I don't see it.
Yeah, he's not.
That was not a bad idea, actually. Like
he's been fantastic this year for them. He really has been great.
I can't lie.
And obviously, Tuchel watches the French league intensely, so he would know how good he is. He would have looked at him.
I can't lie. Wait, go on, Brian.
I think all this if, buts, and maybes we're having with because people are saying, "Oh, we let go of Salah, Lukaku." So if we let go of Tammy or Sarr or whatever, they could end up being these quality players. Sometimes you have to play the risk game. You know that Salah and Lukaku and De Bruyne, they didn't want to stay and fight for their place.
Yeah.
So they forced the move. They wanted to leave. Obviously, they had the potential, and obviously we wanted to keep them, but they wanted to go. They left, and fair enough, they went and fulfilled their career. But I think sometimes you have to take the risk. I mean, we're taking it with Mount and with Reece James, and that's fine. But even with those two, they need to be pushed, and maybe we need to buy not upgrades, but competition in those two positions. Someone like Tammy, I don't think there's going to be any risk of him developing into something special, because even Bamford's doing well at Leeds, but you cannot tell me Bamford could go into Chelsea or Man United and he would fire. I don't think he would. I think sometimes you have to weigh up the options for it.
And not every player is built for every club. You know, some guys that we've had who have done well at other clubs, like they just weren't built for what we do at Chelsea. It's like it is what it is. You just got to let it go sometimes.
Yeah, it's just. I don't like when we act as though buying the ready-made guy is a guarantee, because it's not.
Yeah,
it's both ways. It's like when we got rid of Lukaku, we persisted with Torres. Costa worked, but then we persisted with Morata, and then we hit Higuain, and now we're still looking for a striker.
But so that is similar.
Yeah,
that's similar to what we have in the youth then, because we didn't buy the right striker. So we bought Morata when we should have bought Lukaku. So that would, in this case, it would be the thing of we persist with someone like Tammy instead of trusting Mount or James, because they clearly have the quality. So it's it's investing in the right youth, the right player for youth, and buying the right quality of experience or whatever.
What I'd say that comes down to is scouting. Our scouting team has been dog shit for years.
Exactly. Because people are complaining about Timo Werner. I watched him in the Bundesliga. I knew what he was. He needs a lot of chances to score, and this season we haven't created a lot of chances for him.
So but that's the thing. Is like it's buying the right player, and it's identifying what you need for the system you need, and like that Werner wasn't what we needed for the system we were playing.
Yeah, and we sort of got trapped with Morata. Like we thought we had Lukaku done. He chose United. We had to go for our second best option.
You don't have to go for Morata, because then we
didn't have to, but.
You go for someone who fits the system more, because Morata was shit. I don't think
we made our money back on Morata.
Did Morata? I think am I right in saying Morata got one season where he scored like over 10 goals?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's mostly headers. Mostly headers.
Yeah, he had like nine goals. He had like 9 goals in like the first 11 games, and then just fell off the planet. Like,
so does anybody think that some of the long-serving servants of our club need to move on, aka Dave?
Yeah.
No.
I don't think. But I don't think he should be starting.
The big problem we have in our team is that we have a lack of leaders. Why would you sell Dave?
Well, where would he play?
He doesn't have to play.
He can play as a backup fullback. He can play right centre back in a 3. He can I guess it depends on what formation we're playing next season. I'm not saying he has to start, but why sell him?
Fucking hell.
Well,
but at some point, new leaders have to step up too. So it's like you can't always rely on the old guys.
No, I'm not saying rely on him. I didn't say he has to play. I'm saying we need leaders in this squad. So if he goes, then I guess the striker we buy or whoever we bring in, whatever position, needs to be a leader, needs to be experienced, to be someone who will step up in big games.
We have Thiago Silva.
The majority of players in this squad I don't trust. Silva only has 1 more season, so
you give him the armband for 1 more season, and you kick that can down the road.
You're at the same point next season where you then need to bring in another leader.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be Mount.
Mount, yeah.
I mean, that's what I keep hearing.
No, people laugh. Mount is good. Like in the Leicester, the final we lost, Mount was trying things, but the thing is, he was overplaying or overthinking. He kept forcing it to happen instead of just being natural. But he was the only. I actually saw him trying. But the thing is, I don't want to rely on Mount. For 7 years we've had to rely on Eden Hazard, and he is one of the best players to play for our club. I don't want to have to rely on Mount when he's 1, not of that level, and 2, he's too young. He doesn't deserve to have all that pressure, and he's going to crumble. And then we have Chelsea fans who are going to complain and say Mount is not good enough. But the rest of our squad is not good enough either. So why are we blaming one player?
Yeah, I agree. It's just a matter of you do have other leaders in the team that are leaders both for their countries and are you still young enough that they can develop to be captains in the future. So
who are these young leaders?
Or just leaders in terms of country, or just other players.
Yeah. So I think some of the captaincy thing is a little overrated, because if you're relying on one person to lift the team, then you have the wrong people in your squad. We're talking about professional players.
Obviously not one person, but you need leaders in the team. Your leader doesn't have to wear. Lampard and Drogba and Czech and Ashley Cole, they were leaders. None of them wore the captain's armband.
Also, you can, as a club, you can give the captain's armband to the wrong person. They can be a shit leader. Look at Arsenal, look at United when Maguire isn't playing.
Yeah, but that's because they also don't have leaders in the team.
That's what I'm saying. Is like the captain armband means nothing if you're giving it to someone. You don't have other leaders. You're giving it to someone who isn't the leader. So we could give it to Timo Werner, but if we have other leaders, then it doesn't really matter as much.
It's more of a symbolic thing at this point.
Yeah,
I would say vocal point that you meant, Paul. Vocal point.
Yeah, but is SB vocal on the field?
I don't think you can be vocal. You can be vocal. I mean, John Terry screamed at everyone. You can be vocal, but you can be like Aspilicueta and just lead by example and perform.
Yeah, because Rudy's vocal.
Yeah, or you can be too far the other way, where like you look at David Luiz, like very vocal, but I would not call him a leader. I would not say I would not trust him to lead my team. Like by the fact he has experience, I wouldn't trust him to lead my team. But he was very vocal. It's about you can have either or you can have you can have extremities of both ends where it's like they can be very vocal, but they're terrible leaders, or they're very quiet, but they're amazing leaders. Like I'd kind of put that on Conte, whereas I'd say he's very quiet, but I'd say he is a leader of sorts in our team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I wouldn't give Conte the armband.
No, I'm not saying about giving the armband. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying a leader of sorts, so to speak.
Yeah, I think whether people like him a lot or not, Mount will probably eventually get the armband. And I don't mind that per se. But if we don't have leaders in the team, or we don't have players who will step up in big games or step up when we need them to, Mount is going to be the guy they're going to blame all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need strong personalities. We don't necessarily need people to pick the whole team up and to like carry them over the finish line.
Yeah. Because you know Lukaku as well with how he's developed, he's going to be one of those players that constantly tries to not like motivate everyone, but like drag people through. And like he is going to get on people's backs. He's going to give that energy around to other players.
You know what's brilliant about Lukaku is that he's had so many ups and downs in his career. One of the things he just wants to do now is just win trophies. Like you saw how much winning the Scudetto meant to him. He was almost in tears because he never won a league before. So now if he's coming back to Chelsea, it's to win the league. It's to win the Champions League. It's to compete for all the things that he hasn't been able to do when he's already scored all the goals he needs to score. It's just about winning those trophies now.
Yeah.
So,
and he's got no danger of like, the thing is as well, you look at some of these players, like it's just in terms of internationally, he's in no danger of ever being like picked internationally, like being taken out of the team or anything. So he's the main guy up front for Belgium. Like he'll be the main guy at Chelsea. He knows he's going to score, like, and he knows he's probably going to win things. At least if the rest of the team does what they need to.
Did everybody see the clip of him and Ibra going at it when Ibra got thrown out?
Yeah.
So, and then the penalty as well that he took to win, or was it to win the game or to draw the game?
Tunnel afterwards.
Like, yeah, I mean,
he wants the pressure.
That's what you want. You want those people that, you know, the old adage in American football is, who do you want in your foxhole? You know, when the enemy's charging, who do you want? Well, yeah, somebody like Lukaku who's going to show up and ain't going to take nothing from anybody. That's leadership, even without the armband.
You know,
I wake up on car as well, saying Aspie is a legend of the club. He can easily play 2 more seasons at the highest level. Our most dependable player in Chelsea history. Respect him.
He can
I
only
agree.
play 2 more seasons on a scooter.
He can play 2 more seasons for Chelsea, not as a starter, but he can still play 2 more seasons in the squad.
Yeah.
I could see that. He can play in multiple positions and is still brilliant defensively, even if his legs are drying up a little bit.
It's similar to how Cahill and Terry were like in their last season before they left, apart from with less disrespect towards them both. Or not Terry, but with Cahill especially. Yeah, how Terry was, where he knew he wasn't going to play as much, but he was being kept to be in and around a squad and to lead off the pitch.
Exactly. Like, there's a reason why now, or look at the last few games where, or even maybe as far as Real Madrid, where Aspie has been playing wing back. That is due to the fact of we need him in the team for experience. He shouldn't be playing wing back. He doesn't have the leg. He's got the delivery, but he doesn't have the legs, the engine.
Wing back.
Exactly, but he's in there based on just the experience factor, which makes sense because we have a lack of leaders. Like, and if we don't have leaders or players who are going to step up in the team, forget challenging for the title next season.
Again, you say that, but he's a leader because he's on the pitch. Next season, he's not going to be on the pitch as much.
Well, hopefully.
I hope so.
Because if he goes to a back four,
go.
If he goes to a back four, I don't see him getting on the pitch very, very much at all, because right back is you need even more legs than playing wing back, because you've got a cover behind you and a 3 behind when there's a 3 behind you. But as a right back, you actually think he's going to bomb up and down the field with another year on his legs? I just.
He'll be a leader in the dressing
room and don't have to play it. Like I don't know what the best example of that is, because like
John Terry did.
Yeah, but John Terry was more. I'm trying to think of like a less vocal type of player, but was still managed to be a good leader off the pitch.
Paulo Ferreira.
Yeah, I think maybe. I don't remember much about Paulo Ferreira. I'll be real.
He stuck around.
So do you keep him in the squad spot?
Yeah.
At the detriment of bringing in a right back who can push James, to be better, like a Livramento, or
No,
bringing
but the whole
somebody
point
in
of
from
having
the
Dave
outside.
as well is it's the same argument I'll have for like with Jorginho. It's having a different type of player. Say we're against a Manchester City or against a team where we're ahead, but we need to defend a bit more. You take Reece James off, you put Azpilicueta on, you say don't get forward as much, just sit back. Because one-on-one, the guy's still brilliant. As a one-on-one defender, the guy's still very, very good. When he hasn't got to worry about what's behind him, he just have to worry about what's in front of him. He's very, very good at that. So that's what you do.
We need a deep
The
squad.
same thing as it's having options of different players that suit different systems. Where if we want to go a bit more defensive or we want to control a game a bit more, that's when you bring on a Jorginho or you bring on a Dave to slow the game down, have that reassurance in the back line, and then and then you also get the leadership that he offers from being, the captain and the leader on and off the pitch.
Right, and my point was not to say he needs to go. I said, do you start looking at getting some of these players out? Because if you're going to build a core nucleus with the young players, you need one of those young players to step up and be the leader of the new generation. So,
don't you think? Or are you saying that Mount isn't ready?
No,
I didn't say that at all. I just said we need to find one of them. Whoever it is, name a person.
Why does it need to be one?
Well, if you're going to talk about a captain is usually one person.
No, but you need more than one.
Yeah, but
more than one.
But the captain, you can. All right, again, our old spine we had. So, Czech, Terry, Cole, Lampard, and Drogba. Any one of them could have won the armband. It didn't really matter, to be honest. But they were all leaders. So
look at Man United. Sorry to interrupt, Prime. Look at Man United
go
in their best ever time. How many leaders can you say they had on that pitch? And even like the silent type, like I'd argue Ji-Sung Park was a leader on that pitch because of what he brought to that team. You look at Michael Carrick, you look at Ferdinand, Vidic, you look at Rooney up top. Like even I'd argue a player like Van Nistelrooy, just from what he would give to the team and how he would drag his team as a leader on the pitch. You could name so many, and none of them, bar maybe Ferdinand and Vidic, got the armband.
But the thing is, who did they learn from? Players before. So focusing on Chelsea, who did Terry have to learn from?
Better boys.
Desai.
Yeah, and he also played with Carvalho.
And who
Lampard played with Cahill learned from Terry.
Exactly. Yeah.
Lampard played with Ballack. He was the best midfielder of all, one of the best midfielders of all time.
Again, I'm just saying that for our youth to take that next step, and I'm talking about anybody under 23 on our team is youth. Let's get it right, because they're not in their prime.
Yeah.
They have to develop a leader within that group of young players. They have to develop leadership within that group.
I think they are leaders. From what they did during the youth academy, they are leaders. Reece James has won the armband in the youth academy. Mount is someone who does step up. So I think they are leaders, or they have the personality traits. But they need someone experienced to help develop that. You know what I mean?
Prime. Reece James went on loan.
He went on loan and was captain.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But for the next generation to step up, the baton has to be passed from the last generation to the new generation. That's what I'm saying. Is
I agree, man.
It's time to pass the baton to the younger generation.
You can't do that you can do that with a couple of players. You can't do that with everyone, because then the thing is as well, not just in terms of leadership ability, is these players, as Prime mentioned with like Terry and Nkeo, is like these players need someone to learn from, to learn the nuances of the Premier League, because it's going to be different from playing in youth level or even championship level. Learning the nuances of how to play in the league, of what, I'll be real, I'll say it, of what you can get away with referees, what you can get away with certain managers, how you work in with certain managers, or how you work in against this player, or going to certain grounds, playing in whatever weather or whatever it is. It's especially if they come from abroad as well, like Umbiamba. If he comes through, he's going to have no idea of what it's like to go to Burnley in the rain and play in that sort of intensity where they're throwing themselves at you constantly. So having a Dave or having a Thiago Silva or whoever it is next to him or just in and around him is going to be so vital for his learning. So you can't just get rid of all of them, because otherwise you've got no one to learn off, and it's learning on the job. and some will thrive, and some will completely fail. Because that's just
the last thing, because I got to go here too to get ready for work. I'm not saying
worries,
get rid of all the older players. I'm just saying that if your race is run and you're at the end of your career, at what point do you say thank you for your service? Now it's time for you to move on.
There's nothing wrong doing that, but then you.
I was so.
You then have to. Any player that you bring in, you have to bring in. You have to make sure one of the big traits that they have is leadership. So, for example, if it's Kane or Lukaku as our forward, they're leaders. If we bring in a centre back, or another centre back, then Rafael Varane or someone like that. If we bring in a midfielder, so I know people don't rate him, but someone like maybe Declan Rice, maybe Locatelli, they're young, but they are leaders. They're captains of their team currently.
Declan
or
Rice
you find
would
someone
fix
who's
all the
old and
leadership
experienced, like
problems.
Verratti or something.
Yeah.
Declan Rice fits into that holding midfield position, and it's funny you talk about like 80 players, like
90 million.
Well, no.
I know, but I was just naming players. I'm not saying we should spend that money on it.
Yeah. But like, think about what Mark Noble has done for Declan Rice in terms of maturity, in terms of honestly, maybe this is the wrong term to use, but making him a man. I mean, he went there a boy. Now look at what he's doing, and that's because he learned how to do that from Mark Noble. Mark Noble, if you watch his interviews, that man knows who he is. He knows himself. He knows that club. He is completely 100% comfortable in his skin. We need that in a leader. We need someone who is like a monument of self-confidence, and we don't have that.
Yeah,
that's the thing. And you look at West Ham, how they've done it with Noble is the perfect way to phase a player out where he plays a little bit less as the season goes on, a little bit less here and there, but he's still involved in the squad. Let his contract run down. He knows he's not going to get that much game time, but he can still give lots of the people around him. Same with Terry, where it was just letting it run down here and there. Like, wasn't in a disrespectful way. It was in a case of like just letting other players develop a bit more. Like the way Cahill, it was done with Cahill, completely just don't do it that way. Don't just go in and go, yeah, you're not playing anymore. Yeah, but why? Just because I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a way to do it. Phase them out a little bit. Get them to help develop the person who's going to take over from them. Let them run down their contract or get to a point where you can move them on and just do it that way. Do it a respectful way. Especially in the case of Dave, where he's putting as much as much of an effort as he has for this club. Don't do it in a disrespectful way because it just sours things.
Exactly. And I'm sure these players would... I mean, look, players know them, especially at that age. You know yourself. You know when your legs are gone and you can't run anymore. Terry was willing to take a step back. I'm sure Aspie would as well. David Luiz wanted to play more, but again, that was also him and Lampard wanted to get rid of him because the thing with experience or leaders in the dressing room or personalities in the dressing room is that they can either be a positive for you, so like Mourinho and Zlatan, or it can work against you, so Mourinho and Pogba. And if you can't get them to come on side, then you have to get rid of them. So that him going made sense, but it was a bad decision.
After the Champions League final, I feel like that's going to be the best time for Dave if he wants to leave. I'm not saying we force him out, but if he wants to leave, I feel like that would be the best time because then we can give him a send off.
Oh.
We can, the fans can say goodbye. It'd be great.
Alright, cool. There we go. Yes, Andrew, what are you saying, bro? You good?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. The days draw nearer, don't they? You know what I mean? Countdown's
48 hours away. Well, we're nearing on
48
36 hours as well.
Yeah, I just getting over that stinky game last night where the penalty shootout was horrible.
Bro, that game, like,
What game?
I barely slept the last few days, but
Was there
that game
a
got me
championship
close.
game yesterday?
No, this was lower than the championship. It was,
League Two playoff, yeah.
Yeah, the
League Two playoff.
not Emery League. That's what it was.
Basically is at this point.
I would talk about leaders in the team,
Unless you're
right?
Chelsea, of course.
I think some of these older players need to step up a bit more. They remind me of it's like when you go on a course and they ask you to someone to speak first and no one does it. You know what I mean? They're just waiting for someone else to step up.
I think Thiago Silva. I think Thiago Silva should
I
step up
think
more.
that as well. But over the last FA Cup over the last few games, no one's really stepped up to be a leader, I don't think. And I think it's then harsh then that people don't focus really on the younger players, like it's their issue. No. They should be led by some of these players a bit more. That's why Lampard, Terry, and those became great, because they had others beside them. Like someone said earlier, like John Terry, the making of John Terry is twofold really. It's Marcel Desailly, preparing him and playing at the back with him. And then there's Carvalho, who came in and just probably just helped him on furthermore. So I think these guys need to step a bit more, especially on Saturday. When it comes to Dave Azpilicueta, I see him staying on possibly another season at least, but having reduced games. And depending, because I think some, I don't know if most people agree, I think Tuchel will play 4 at the back most of the time next year.
Yeah.
And I really see Reece James being utilised more as the right back, but Azpilicueta is still coming in now and again. You know, probably even getting more games than anyone thinks of, because it's still a squad game. Unless they are thinking of adding a right back to the list, which I don't think they are, but I see Dave being reduced. And someone said it's right. Dave should be treated with respect, because if he wins the Champions League Saturday, I mean, we're talking about putting Azpilicueta in amongst the Chelsea greats. Probably even now he's as a defender, he's amongst the Chelsea greats. I mean, a few years ago, they talk about Wan-Bissaka being the best one-on-one defender. A few years ago, for multiple seasons, that was Azpilicueta. He was the best one-on-one
many
defender.
seasons.
I think the year we won the league.
Yeah.
I think the year we won the league, he was statistically in the top 5 leagues the best one-on-one defender.
I think he's underrated, man. Azpilicueta.
He is, but if he wins the Champions League, I mean, we're talking about what? I mean, that's
The
everything,
Champions
right?
League is what?
That cements his place.
No, if he wins the Champions League, there's no debate. There's no debate. He gets in over Ivanovic. There's no debate.
I think it's because of his character. He's very laid back in it, so people don't really talk about him a lot.
Don't rate him much as a captain.
Yeah, because he's laid back. That's why people don't talk about him.
He's
But
probably a bit too laid back. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To lead. I mean, he's probably, you know what? He's probably a great vice captain.
Yeah.
probably, innit?
You know what I mean?
I'll be honest, I'm not.
Thiago Silva should be captain, man.
I'm not the biggest fan of Aspie as the captain, but we got to remember like that the captain does like bear of the administrative stuff in the team. You know what I mean, and I think he's great at that. You know, when you got to talk to the referees before a game and all that stuff. I think he's perfect at that. It's just on the field. I want Rudiger, I want Thiago Silva, I want those guys shouting at the players and organising things more than him. But still, like that's what we need, man. We need the whole package. I think the problem lies in maybe in the forwards. We don't have any leaders up front.
Because they're young, innit? I think they're young.
We don't.
They're all young.
There's none. They don't take the initiative. They look timid. They just go with the
so timid.
Not aggressive enough. They need to be more aggressive.
I'd argue differently. I'd say it's on midfield, just because like you can have a front, like a forward line that's got no leaders. If you've got the midfield behind them, fucking getting on at them if they're not doing certain things. But I'd say bar Kante, and we've already said he's not vocal. I don't see any leaders in that midfield. I think Mount's a bit too young and a bit too.
I think Scott Jorginho could be a leader.
Jorginho,
He's nowhere near. Again, he's not.
He's
a vice captain.
I don't think he should have done.
Again, the thing with Jorginho is we keep saying it's if buts and maybes. Like it's the I think with the passing thing. We've seen that he can play these beautiful passes, doesn't do it anywhere long enough. We said he could be that leader, he doesn't show it anywhere near enough.
Yeah.
Like it's just a case of like we know what he could be and he's not showing it constantly, or it's in bits and pieces.
I think they had Man United had Bruno as skipper. Now, if you noticed on the penalty shootout, Pogba was in there.
Yeah, Bruno.
Even Nolly wasn't in there. Pogba was in there. You know, trying to G them up, and it's like
it's because Bruno's not a leader. You can
that's
see.
What I mean. It's like
he's
when
not
they
the
take
leader.
it's like when they take it from abroad, don't they? They give like the most international teams. They give the most talented player the
armband.
It's not even that. And I was watching Rance's stream last night, and he brought this up. Was it him or Flawless or someone brought this up? In the Portuguese team, he's given a lot less license to do stuff, so you don't see him. You see him a lot in this United team because he's given the biggest license because he's got the most goals or whatever. In the Portuguese team, he's told to sit in midfield. You don't leave midfield. you give it to the better players, and you don't.
Ronaldo's there, innit? You can't rule Ronaldo.
But it's not even that. He'll give it to Bernardo Silva or to João Matinho, he'll give it to the other.
Scott, he's playing with better players, isn't it?
Exactly. He's playing with players that have got more seniority than him. The top
and they're better than Man United, not the one.
I don't. You know me. I don't think the midfield have to be leaders. That's why I don't think that, man. Because like Real Madrid, yeah, like their Champions League winning team, they have like Kroos and Modric. They're not necessarily leaders, but like they had one focus on like Sergio Ramos.
They are.
They're not necessarily.
They're just not vocal. They are leaders.
Yeah, they don't have
They're
to
big
be
personalities.
I don't have to be leaders on the pitch.
Yeah, trust me.
But I think
what we're talking about is.
But I think Real Madrid have like that focal point, like Sergio Ramos. He's like a proper leader. Like he's vocal and he can set by example, man.
But all we lack is we just need someone to take accountability in it. The final, someone's got to step up in it. You know what I'm saying? That's all we need in it. Forget about leadership. Someone needs to say, "Listen, I'm going to win us the game," and that's all. That's all we need.
Hey, if it reaches penalties, which 5 would you choose, man?
I'm not confident. I'll be real.
Yeah, same.
Mount.
I wanna put.
Let's not even talk about that.
Emerson would be a good shout.
I mean, I don't expect Emerson to be on the pitch.
Yeah, I'd say Mount, Jorginho, Havertz, Pulisic.
Yeah, Havertz.
I honestly don't want to go penalties.
You'd have to say Werner, wouldn't you?
I was tempted Werner. If he's on the pitch,
Werner goes last.
Werner took penalties last season. He scored 3 penalties this season.
Mendy goes before him.
I think Jorginho. I think Jorginho should go first.
Not tonight, though.
I wouldn't even let Jorginho take, bro, because that hopping.
I think Jorginho should go first to set the tone, man. To set the tone, Jorginho should go first.
Mate, Jorginho.
Edison
Bro.
said one time, man. I remember.
Yeah, 2 years ago, he saved in the Carabao Cup, man.
He did that hop skip thing and he found him out, bro. So Jorginho better pattern up, man.
But do you know what? Yeah, even yesterday in their penalty shootout, Fernandes didn't do the hop skip. He just hit it straight.
He was about to miss
because I think
he was about to miss. The goalkeeper should have saved that, man. I would rather goalkeeper save that one than De Gea's, man.
Yeah, but to be fair though, the way that game went for Man United, he knew he couldn't mess about.
Yeah,
so that's why he didn't do it.
I think we know, like the keepers
not De Gea, Bruno. Sorry,
the keepers know that they do that hop skip thing, so you just wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because he has to generate a lot of power, and he doesn't do it. So
you know when it goes off,
it rolls. It just rolls. There's not a lot of power in what he does. He just rolls it.
Yeah,
so it's not as if he's blasting it, like because Bruno does it differently, but he gets a lot of power on his one. Whereas
Jorginho has no power on his.
Very less.
Yeah, all you got to do is go the right way.
Placement. He gets it really close to the corners most of the time.
But I think Edison has him. You know, I think Edison has a number because last time he saved it, but with the hop.
Yeah, in the Carling Cup.
I don't want to. Honestly, I don't want pens.
Yeah, but that was like years ago. Here's the thing with
years ago.
As long as you don't dive until he's hit the ball, you can usually find your way around it. That's the way. That's the way to.
Scott, you want pens. You want pens. And you want to win. You want to win on.
No, but like Man City,
I don't.
You want to win on pens so that every Chelsea fan who criticises Bruno for getting penalties can't say anything anymore.
Everyone's talking about Chelsea
because just that City team with the penalties and just I don't.
So you're not good at penalties.
Man City aren't good at penalties.
When you look at their penalty takers, so whether it be Aguero or De Bruyne, whoever, they're not good. Ederson also is not good at saving penalties either.
I forgot about their penalty record this season. It's dog
Even
shit.
Rodri.
Yeah.
De Bruyne
One day penalty with Rodri as well. Rodri missed that as well.
Exactly. The only thing for us is Mendy's not good at penalties.
Yeah, exactly. I remember against Cardiff. They all went to one side and clean.
120th minute, you bring Willie on instead of Mendy.
No. Why not Kepa? Because he can save penalties.
Nah, Kepa.
I know no one wants him to, but he does.
Now, Caballero.
I know what the narrative will be if he comes on and we lose. They're gonna blame him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. If we were in 120 minutes and I see Kepa coming on, I'd be more confident than Mendy.
Bring Caballero. That's fair.
Remember that Aguero pen?
Maybe Mendy has been.
You remember that Aguero pen in the Carabao Cup where Kepa should have saved that and he would do it under him? And he was like right.
Yeah.
He should have saved that.
Yeah, but also, do you remember Kepa versus Frankfurt? So
yeah.
That Carabao Cup penalty shootout was just that whole final.
He also Caballero saved one in
Yeah.
he faced Norwich in an FA Cup run.
Yeah, Caballero's
And
brilliant at
Caballero,
pens, but
he
it's the
said
fact of he just hasn't played.
Guys,
That's
let's
why I
face
just
it,
wouldn't want to bring him on.
Let's face it, Peter Cech is not very good at saving penalties, and he just had that one night where it just went.
Yeah, but Andrew,
why do you say he's not very good?
I said overall, Peter Cech, saving penalties. Peter Cech is not the best at saving penalties in his whole career, in his overall career.
I remember him saving a few.
He's not. Andrew's right. Andrew's right.
He's not great.
He had that one night where he was just nearly saving everything. So it could be
Yeah,
like
but
that.
Moscow, hey Andrew, Moscow, Ronaldo's one.
Yeah, he saved that one. In the
No, he's
overall
saying he has
season,
saved.
he
He's
saved
saying
against
he's
Blackburn.
not brilliant. He's not that he didn't save many.
I'm gonna be real. Andrew's correct. Like other than Munich, like he barely saved penalties like
I
that.
can think of a couple off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's a couple, but that's the thing.
there's a
There's
few,
a
but
couple.
there's not
There's a
like-
He
lot
doesn't have
that
the
has gone
reputation.
into.
Look, he doesn't have the reputation. It's like, you know
Fair
what I mean?
enough.
Like he's
Like, I remember the 2010 Cup final. Paul Dickov in 2005. Fucking what other saves have we seen?
2005 Blackburn, he saved that one.
Yeah, the Paul Dickov.
It's easy to
one.
remember the saves, though.
Is there
Oh,
anyone
definitely
in the middle of that too?
I didn't
The
know.
Ronaldo one, Ronaldo. Oh,
Yeah, Ronaldo in fucking Moscow. There's a few, but like there's also a lot
and
that
then
have
the
gone
FA
in. It's
Cup
just you don't
final,
really
yeah.
remember the ones. That
What
we
about
won.
in the Liverpool penalty shootout? Did he save any of those?
No.
Nah, we lost 4-1. They scored all their pens.
Yeah, they
We
scored.
never know,
fucked
do
up.
we, how
Horrible.
good he is in the penalty shootouts because we're hardly in them. There's only two that.
He didn't save that one for Arsenal.
Yes, but he's.
Hey, would you man play Ziyech in the Champions League final?
No.
I would.
Okay, here's the thing. I hate Ziyech. He's a. And I said this when we bought him. He's a he's a high risk sort of player. Chelsea fans got gas because he scored against Kepa when we played Ajax. But if you don't rate Kepa, then you shouldn't rate that goal either. It was very dodgy, and he didn't do anything in either of the two games. Like he forces things so much. He's always shooting from distance and missing. But when that one goal comes off, then all of a sudden you celebrate it. I would play him against City because in the past two games he's played against City, he scored 3 times. Well, twice and 1 offside goal. So that's the only reason I would think about playing him. But other than that, like I wouldn't want to.
But I don't know, man. Hey, you know when we went forward the back here against Villa, we actually looked decent in it. So I don't know, man. Nah, I don't know. If you play forward the back, you got to play Ziyech in it. If we don't play him in it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was saying.
If Ziyech stays, you might see the better of him in a 4-2-3-1.
In a 4, he looked so good because he came on. He
yeah.
actually looked good in a 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
the
this
pens-
formation really suits him.
Nah, I don't.
I
It
think
don't.
he's limited.
'Cause it requires a lot of running, and he's not a runner.
He does run though. A couple of times, but
He's not a runner like Mount. Mount's a
send-
runner, isn't it? That's why Mount shines in
Send that guy back. Send that guy back to Amsterdam or something.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
But
do
we'll
that,
say that
man.
after Saturday, man. He could pull out something. He's been very useful off
Yeah,
the
if he
bench.
scores some 30 yards,
When Ziyech is at Ajax,
Exactly, and that's the thing. That's
been
why I
used
said
to
I wouldn't if he plays like I advocate for him playing, but I just don't like him. Like
you
it's not
watch when he hits a free kick and it bounces off Ederson's face.
exactly.
We'll be like,
The things he's supposed to be good at, he hasn't been good at.
Would you not go for the back on Saturday or no?
No.
He's not gonna go. He's not gonna go forward the back. He's not gonna change
Hell
the
no.
Because us playing 3 at the back has made Pep like in the what was it, the Carabao Cup game.
Yeah.
It was a different team, but in the league game he completely switched up his system, completely changed it all up just to accommodate us playing 3 at the back, and it fucked him.
Yeah, but our form
He
lately
play
is shit,
he play like
innit?
4 forwards and that, and he play like 3 at the back or something like that.
Yeah, he had like Mendy playing like I think in centre mid or left wing. I don't know what he had. He was nuts.
He played a 3-3-3-1. That's not. Yeah, that's 10. Yeah.
So, he just went nuts with it because he trying to counteract us and it fucked him. Like
Yeah,
it
but
just.
Scott, what I'm
fucked
saying
him.
is, we've been lacking. Because you watched the Villa game, like we played the 3 and we just didn't look like scoring. But when we played the 4, we actually looked like
Deep
scoring.
block.
Yeah, but it's completely different because we went from playing against a team with a low block where they're just sitting back and trying to counter-attack to playing a team with a high line who are going to be open. Excuse me, going to be open and expansive, and are going to come at us. So we like it's the same thing with Liverpool where we hit them on a counter attack and we had so much space in behind.
And you know,
And Real Madrid.
Scott,
you know when you play out from the goalkeeper with 3 at the back, it's more easier than a back 4, man.
what would your front three be?
6:30 a.m.
Because it's a hard one for me. I don't know, man. I don't know who I'd start. Big man thing.
Part of me wants to say, like, what was the front three when we played them in the league?
Ziyech, Mason Mount, and I think Werner. But then Havertz.
Werner, yeah.
No, it was Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner. It was Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, man. Not
Mount went in the squad.
What, in the league?
Yeah.
In the league, yeah, in the league.
Scott, do you want to say something?
Nope. I don't want to know.
Johnny's not here, man. Johnny's not here, man.
Speak your mind, bro. Speak your
He's
mind.
got to play, right? He has to play.
That
If
makes
I
him
were
out
Will
to
in
play,
the front three, I wouldn't play him. But he has to play because it's a final and he has been our best player this all. Arguably,
4
been our
minutes on
best player
4.
this
He
season.
gets there on 4 minutes.
Yeah.
For the solidity in midfield, we need him.
Yeah, because
Probably
you
go
could be
with
extra midfield man, innit?
Ziyech and Werner then.
Yeah, I would go Ziyech and Werner.
No, but that was
Havertz
the
and
FA
Werner,
Cup
man.
final team, man. They didn't.
No, I wouldn't go Havertz. I would.
Again, it's a different system. It's a different system. We played against the low
Why not
block.
Havertz?
I'm
I
with
play
Myron,
Havertz, man.
Havertz.
Havertz looked lively when he came on, you know. Against Villa. Yeah.
I think he's had the speed to get in behind for sure.
I just haven't seen.
man.
I don't remember seeing. Like, I can't remember how well he did against City. I don't remember if he came on against City in the.
Honestly, I don't remember either.
league.
He
I'm
didn't
thinking of the
come
Real
on-
game.
He didn't
I
come
can't
on in the
remember who he
league, and in the FA Cup he came on, but it was like 10 minutes. Didn't really do much.
Yeah, so I haven't seen him much like against City. So I don't know how he play. Is the thing.
I think Ziyech will be key against City, man. Because like Ziyech, he got that
But-
final
yes.
pass, and
But also,
and he,
Scott, I quite
and he
like
could come
that.
short, and he could come short to give Werner space and that.
Havertz' work ethic though is so good.
Because City haven't seen him either.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but
What you say? You saying Werner, Havertz,
So you haven't
Mount?
seen who?
Oh yeah, that would be my front three.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I can fuck with that. I can go with that.
Yeah.
It's Mount and Werner, and then it's one other. Someone's got.
You've got that mad echo.
Right.
It's prime. Sorry, man.
Is it?
One sec. Is it Prime?
Yeah, because he just muted.
It is Brian.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, Prime.
Because you don't have your headset on, man.
quite echoey.
It's
Yep,
Mount.
yep. That's Prime.
Mad fam.
Sorry,
Yeah.
bro.
Sorry, bro. I didn't mean to call you out like that.
I'd say Werner and Mount definitely, and then it's
Havertz, man.
one.
Now
I
listen,
don't know
Chris
that one.
is my boy in it, but yo, no.
Havertz, man. We
Not
need the
this
height.
guy.
We need the speed, the work ethic.
The thing is,
But then
I really like Pulisic and Havertz. What they've been able to do from the bench, they've impressed
Yeah.
me more.
Yeah,
than the games they started.
Yeah,
Nah, but
word.
if Tuchel's gonna play Pulisic off the bench, he should play him on the left, not on the right. Because I don't want to see Pulisic on the right, bro.
You're on the right.
It's gonna
No,
be-
but he looked alright. He looked
think
alright.
Pulisic
on the right.
not.
He's better off the left, but he can
On
play
the
both.
four, on the foot, in a
He can play both, but I think he's good on the left.
Because he was making
Ideally,
good
I
crosses. He was making good crosses, like, you know what I'm saying? But we need to make sure Chilwell starts. None of this Alonso bullshit, like, that's gonna piss me off, bro. Make sure Chilwell's had a good season, fam.
Is
Like,
Kante fit or like half fit or 80% or something?
Scott, I think
Kante plays. Yeah,
Good.
that's the one.
He
person
better
I
fucking
put
play.
money
So I can't be having
I see
Kovacic.
Havertz starting, G.
Scott, I
Martin
think
Kante and
said
Jorginho.
that Tuchel might
Hey,
start.
Scott, I think Kante's
I could
not
see
fit, but
Havertz
they're just
starting.
gonna play him anyway. innit?
That's who I want to
Yeah.
start.
Dude.
He has to play. Him
Dose
and
up
Jorginho
Kante.
have to be the midfield. Him and Jorginho.
Yeah.
has to be
Him and
Yeah,
Jorginho.
Yeah, because if you're playing Kovacic, that's no sitter.
Yeah,
That's
he
going
looks
to be a
rusty.
field day. for
Kovacic looks
Honestly,
rusty as well.
Kevin De Bruyne is going to have a field day if we don't play Jorginho, just because he's going to have he's going to have so much space.
That's why we
lines.
need Mount. That's why we need Mount. We need to play
No,
three.
no, but Mount's
three
not
in the
going to
middle,
sit
man.
though either. What I'm
Say that
saying is
again.
Kovacic and Kante aren't sitting. So they're both going to want to roam. So you've got no one in front of the back three. So then if Gundogan or Foden or Mahrez or De Bruyne or whoever picks the ball up, bro, they can take shots for days. They can just, and I know it's Mendy and goal and not Kepa, but they actually no, it might be. Or is Mendy fit as well?
Mendy's fit.
That is, I think these lot
Yeah,
ain't
they can
fit,
still
but they're
just
just
get
gonna
shots
play
for
in
days.
it. He's gonna force
fit,
them to
Mendy's
play,
fit,
bro.
Now he's just like a.
Bro, they're
I
gonna
think
feed
he's
him so
a
much
Zidane.
horse placenta.
Bro, they're gonna force
gonna-
him to play, bro. Because
Painkillers and horse placenta,
if Kepa
bro.
plays, we're losing. If Kepa plays, we're
Oh,
losing. I
definitely,
don't
bro.
care.
Honestly,
We're
they've
losing.
got like 4 players that can hit long shots. Like every
Yeah,
single one
man.
is going to be
It's
trying to get the
easy.
ball.
Hey, I won't be shocked if he goes
Oh, yeah.
Kante, Kovacic.
How did we nullify De Bruyne in the FA Cup, man?
Who?
I don't get how he.
We put Kante on him and
Was
Mount.
he in? But did he play
He
it?
went off injured.
Yeah, he played in the FA
But he
Cup.
went off
He played
injured.
in
Yeah.
it.
We do the same
He
thing.
did go off
innit?
injured.
Get him injured again, fam.
It wasn't that. It was Mount and Fernandinho.
What's it?
Rough him up, man.
Who Mount and who?
Mount and
Oh yeah.
Fernandinho, and made him look
So
really.
Kante must have been
He
on the
couldn't get around
brain.
the pitch.
Get him
He didn't
injured again,
influence
fam. Kick his ankles.
Yeah,
Obviously,
Question.
you're
do
right.
something
You know
mad,
what?
fam.
Let's
How
use the
many?
parts, man.
How many substitutes are we allowed to
5.
field? No,
5.
not to bring on. Not to bring on. I mean the whole to field.
12. 12.
Yes,
Right,
12.
because the 25-man squad, everyone's going to be on the bench.
12 subs. You can make 5. I don't know if you get an extra one in extra
You
time.
do
or
get an
not.
extra one if it goes to
Yep,
extra time.
Daniel as well
That's
saying
nice.
don't like
Yeah.
Jorginho, but
Yeah.
Kante and Jorginho is the best double pivot. For right now, it definitely is. I back that too. Has to be Kante.
I think
Jorginho in the
Reece
final.
James needs to play wing back because he finished Mendy that time. Oh my days!
I'll put Aspi wing back. I can't lie.
Nah, Lewis. Do you not see that match when Reece James was?
Yeah, he
killing him?
literally ran him.
He was
ran
killing him, bro. He had to even
Yeah,
take Mendy off.
he did, but I feel like we need to be more defensively solid in this sort of game. It's going to be different than that one. They played a heavily rotated side for me. So I think we go Havertz right wing back and we go Christensen right centre back because I don't trust Reece James as passing out the back from right centre back either.
You leave Reece James out this game.
Dave's got to play.
It's a sticky one. It's a sticky one, but for me, I'll go Aspi right wing back.
Bro, you got to play Reece James, man. The power, man. That power, the guy
I think
has.
Reece James would be a good option off the bench for us, but for me, Aspi has to start.
But you know,
we need to be
I can't lie,
defensively
he makes
solid
his
first.
substitutions quite late, fam. Like, he needs to pattern up with the substitution. He makes it on the 70th minute. Like, it's too late, bro. Like, if you're going to change the
he
game,
pattern up,
make
man.
it earlier, man.
It's a Champions League final, man. He'll pattern up.
He needs to pattern, man. Bro,
You think Christensen starts?
I don't know, but I would love to go to a 4-8, you know what I'm saying? But it's just mad,
Bro,
innit?
why would you want to go to a 4 if you never played it for like most of the?
Bro, we got that scoring.
Experimenting for a Champions League final was suicide.
Bro, we look like scoring in a 4. In a 3, we just look like, it's a bit sus, man. At least we have another.
Oh man, we've been good. We've been really good in the 3.
3 goals in 2 games against City.
But lately, innit? Like, lately. Against Villa,
But we haven't had
game
Conte.
pissed me off, bro. That Villa game just pissed me off, man. Man, I have to watch.
But they're a
Spurs,
deep block.
Imagine that. Spurs saved us. Otherwise, we would have been fucked.
I get the reason, like that, you would say that we've looked stale because we lost a couple games on the bounce, but I think that's 100% down to the fact that all of these players are so nervous for this game that they're barely even bothered to like think about what game they're in at the moment. Like you talk about young players, they've never been here before, man. They've never been in a Champions League final.
Our young players need to step up, man. They've lost 2 back-to-back finals, innit? They need to give us something. They need to just, I don't know, man. Mason Mount seems to have a madness.
When we were going into the FA Cup final, I thought the fact that we lost the one last year, I didn't see us losing this one.
Yeah, I really
see it at all.
I thought we'd win.
But bro, yeah, they need to turn it to winners, man.
Blood, they need
to. Vernon needs to stop being offside, man, because it literally pisses me off. Vernon,
not even
imagine
that,
in Champions League final, him scoring the
other
VAR
players
rule
need
out.
to just step up, man.
Don't worry, I did call him last night, so don't worry.
Our players need to step up, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just make sure something like passing, basic passing needs to be right. There's basic things that need to just.
Nah, bro, we normally pass good.
Nah, man, the FA Cup final, Reece James fucked up, and then them man scored, man.
Are City full strength? Do we know? Like, are they completely?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they have any injuries. I'll check.
I think so.
It don't even matter who City play, man. What team plays for City? They're all quality, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I think we can hurt them.
We're just gonna focus on our game.
Yeah, trust me.
Gundogan's that's it.
Gundogan's a doubt, so he might be on the bench. But that just means it's going to be. They'll probably play De Bruyne.
We need to
Rodri,
watch
and
Foden.
Fabinho.
I think we need to watch Foden, man. We need to just stay on Foden.
Jesus Christ.
Does he play on the left or on the right?
Either.
No way he plays, but
he plays it like either or.
We need to watch that kid, man. He's very talented. I can't lie to you. Look,
I'd play Christensen in one of the back three, man. In the right, preferably the right centre back.
Yeah, same.
You'd start him after this injury? I take Dave there.
He was already on the bench for the Villa game. I think he was already match fit.
Exactly. I think it would be a good addition, man, because he got the height and he can play out well.
Yeah, I prefer him 100%. But the problem is, what's his fitness? What's his form like? Go ahead, Brian.
that's true. Still, it's a big game, man. To throw him in, just to throw him in the Champions League final is mad.
Same as Tottenham, man. Remember when Thiago Silva was injured, we threw him in. He played well.
That's different, bro.
That's Thiago, bro. Thiago is wine, bro.
Thiago Silva's a madman.
He's next level. I love that man.
Yeah,
Wish he was like 30.
Yeah,
Such a leader, bro.
AC Rudiger.
Like, Thiago Silva loves Chelsea, man. Like, I wish we bought him like when he was in like, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
earlier on.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah,
could
with
make
no
a player
chance.
5 years younger, it
Bruh,
would be
oh
him.
my days.
So
That'll be
good.
solid. We'll be solid at the
We'd be
back for
sorted.
45, 60
Yeah.
years, man.
You talk
Fucking
about
hell,
leadership, man.
He's
The man has
so,
leadership coming out of his ears.
yeah, trust me. He don't even speak English good, and he could just still like direct people with this and that. It's just mad. It's mad. He's such a good player.
Bro, his wife has more personality than half of our midfield.
Oh my! I wish his wife played. I wish his wife played.
You don't have to go that deep, man. Chill, man.
Maybe that's our Destroyer 6.
He's more active. He cares, man. These
Just
players don't
screaming
care
at half of
sometimes.
the players at our attack when they keep fucking up Thiago Silva's passes.
Yeah.
Accountability, bro. She
That's
holds
what
him
I'm saying. They've
accountable.
got no personality, you know. Like their personality is a bit off. It's just a bit.
They're
Funny.
not killers, bro. They're just not killers. That's what it is. They'll learn to be killers,
Learning, innit?
hopefully.
The problem is, we're not a club. We're not a club to wait. We're very impatient, fans and bored.
I think that's because
now,
we've always
so
been
I
successful.
can't listen. You can maybe carry one, possibly two players to wait, but we're talking about possibly 4 or 5 players we're waiting to explode, and I just don't think we do it. That's why we're probably so heavily that we're going to.
I think preseason will be key because Tuchel can choose the ideal lineup.
Preseason. The
and then
problem
he
is the problem with preseason. Most of these players we got are going to the Euros.
Kepa starting the final, guys.
How much? No, he's not.
Is that?
How much?
Daddy, why are you doing?
Don't even do
Why
that.
are you trying to ruin my day? Like, stop.
It's Thursday. I'm gonna just do that to my chest, man. Don't do that, bro.
People trying to ruin my day. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Hey, boys, I got to take off. Big up to the panel. Take it easy.
Put his value up to sell him.
Javi, don't do that, fam. It's Thursday, bro. What the fuck?
Yo, honestly, I joke about that because that's me in the back of my head freaking out. So I'm really worried Mendy's not gonna be fit. So,
Well, if he's back, man, you know what I'm saying?
He trained yesterday. He should be fine, right?
They've already travelled with the squad.
Yeah.
Mendy's all right, man.
They're on the
Mendy's
plane,
alright.
man. They're on the plane right now. The pictures are getting me emotional.
They're in
I'm not gonna
cotton wool and bubble wrap. That's why they're on the plane, strapped in.
but yeah, look, if we go to penalties though, y'all talking about Caballero. He really is a shout because remember he played for City and
He played with these, man. That's what I'm saying. He played with these, man. So
Yeah,
you
but
know.
Caballero won't be on the bench. He'll be Kepa.
Nah,
Well, that's why I was asking
Nah.
about the numbers, though.
I think
Louis.
no, you can play. I think you can play 2 goalkeepers in the bench because you have 12 subs.
Yo, y'all think Tammy's making the bench?
Yeah, if there's
Oh, yeah. He traveled the squad. He traveled the squad. Yeah, he's making the bench.
That's what I'm saying because they've announced the 25-man squad. That's why I wanted to know how many.
Is Caballero in there? Is Caballero there?
Caballero's in there. Yeah, he's in the 20.
Exactly, for the penalties, fam. He's just there for penalties.
No Mason Mount.
Allow it, man. Look you at
Johnny didn't shoot out.
Man, you know what I mean? Johnny's not here to trigger.
If Mason Mount don't play, Johnny's gonna have 50 cigarettes, bro. Hey.
Oh, thank you, Scott.
Yes, Prime, your mic working now. Please.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was my levels. Sorry.
But y'all probably already talked about this, but do y'all really think it's possible to get Rice in the summer?
No, man. The money they want.
I don't want it, bro.
I don't want Rice, bro. For the value of money, I don't want him.
Would you guys rather have too many?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Is it that you guys
Oh,
don't
I would
want
have
Rice
Barella.
because of? Do you not want Rice because of the price?
Yes.
No, because he
It's
wouldn't
not the
start.
player, it's the
He would
price.
not start. Have you
It's
seen the
not that-
statistics?
It's not that prime. I
What do you
just
mean
don't
he'll
think
not
we'd pay it.
You're
I don't
bugging
think
now.
we're going to pay that
Javi,
price.
he won't start, bro.
We're not paying
No,
that
I
Have you
price.
seen his statistics? Have you seen his
I
statistics
don't
against
mind it.
Jorginho?
I don't mind it.
Jorginho has a better statistics than Rice, you know. Dude, fam,
Yeah, Jorginho plays in a better team than Rice.
It don't matter
Also-
though. He's got better statistics. So we're
Yeah,
buying
but it's
someone
always
to
just about
replace.
statistics because, Rice is better. I would it's the eye test as well because statistically, Rashford's had a good season. He's fucking awful.
And
But
you don't
Scott,
trust-
look,
you don't
even
always
this,
trust
even
stats.
this.
I've seen,
How much?
I've seen stats that say Fred in some areas is better than Jorginho. Do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't pick Fred over Jorginho.
Look
for
at
anything.
this.
Fred-
How much
You know what I
open
mean?
play
can't pass the
goals
ball.
Jorginho has? How much open play goals does Jorginho has? Right? How much?
Zero.
How much open play goals Rice has? Like
I have
one.
no idea.
Yeah, we just
One.
won, bro.
One.
don't
I remember
Rice
against
I can't
who's
remember
it?
He scored in the last day of the season, guys.
Yeah,
Oh,
but he
yeah, I
already
remember.
has an open play goal, so you can't really go off of that, bro. Those
I wouldn't,
stats.
I wouldn't
but
judge these
Rice
two
and-
players on goals, man. I wouldn't judge
Rice
these two
and
players
Deck-
on goals.
Yeah, what's the point? They're not
There's
that
no
good.
point, man.
players,
There
man.
really is no point. no point. You judge him on everything else apart from goals. There's no point.
It's the same. I saw someone I know on Twitter tweeted out that he's like first or second in the most amount of like in the dribble percent completion or something. Rice. It's like, cool. If you've made 4 dribbles across a season and you completed 3 of them, then it's obviously going to be fucking high, isn't it? If you only made 4 dribbles across a whole season, then who cares? So it's like, that's why it's got to be taken with a pinch of salt when it's on
ESPN when they did the
Even created chances, man.
He's got the
Stupid.
best goals per minute, but it's like how many games?
Say that again, Andrew.
Do you know what I mean? It's like ESPN went Bale's got the best goal to minutes in the league this season, but it's like how many games has he played? That's what I mean. It's so ridiculous.
But it's so sickening that he has more goals than Bruno.
Rice and Jorginho are 2 different players, man. Jorginho's a register, innit? And Rice is just a typical holding midfielder, innit? So,
and we need that, bro. We need that.
But we don't need it for 90 million.
Man,
oh yeah, it's the price tag.
Okay, let's say we buy Rice. I mean, let's say we buy Rice and we pay him 90 million. He's never going to reach that level that we got him back.
Nah, so if you want Rice, you slap 45 million and you give them Tammy Abraham, done. Then you get Rice then.
No.
How about that? Would y'all take?
No, can I just say, Zamir Benjamin keeps talking about Calvin Phillips. No.
Calvin Phillips, is that the lead player? He's all right, isn't it?
I watch Phillips in Championship. I rate the guy. I like him.
I would even want him in Europe.
His stats are not even better than Declan Rice.
Also, I'd argue he's not like I wouldn't say he's a natural holding like destroyer defensive midfielder, which is what we need.
But he's a different type, man. He's different. He's like a Jorginho, bro. He just
exactly.
But here's the thing: you guys complain about Jorginho.
Exactly.
So why would you want Calvin Phillips?
We complain. We complain when Jorginho makes a mistake because he does got that element of stupidity. Look, Arsenal, a Villa game, he's got that stupidity in him. Like, he needs to cut that out.
So does Phillips. Also, do you know how old the guy is?
But I don't care about Phillips.
Probably like 21.
Yeah, so he's not improving. He's not improving.
Phillips will improve. He's a good player. I rate him.
He could improve.
He's good, but we don't need him.
But also, again, it's Leeds and it's an English player. We know what English tax is like. That'll be 50 million at least. And again, like, what's the point? Just go and get Tuchemeni, who's 34 million.
Yeah.
Like, I always said this.
And Tuchemeni's already had the seed of approval.
Do you man think we should buy an elite creator like Sancho? Do you man think we should buy like Sancho, like an elite creator?
If we don't get a striker, yes. But we need the striker first.
Get both.
I would get both. Personally, I would get both. Lukaku and Sancho would
we need to destroy a DM as well. For me, number 9, destroy a DM, then go for a winger. If we can't get a number 9, get a DM and then get a winger.
We need a centre back, man.
And I don't want any old striker either. If we can't get Lukaku, Kane, or Haaland, work with Havertz.
We need a centre back, bro. I don't trust this defense, man.
No, centre backs are fine for me. We don't need
as Liverpool have shown this season. As Liverpool have shown this season, if you have a destroyer DM who is at that level, you don't need good centre backs.
Exactly.
I agree.
Sorry,
go on.
They went from absolutely slewing Williams and Phillips to rating them simply because they went from not having Fabinho to having Fabinho in the team. That's all it was. And they went from slating them to rating them.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Trust me.
Scott, you know what? I agree with you. Van Dijk is not that good. I agree.
Van Dijk's not the. Van Dijk is no.
Wait,
Van
what?
Dijk's a centre back.
Wait,
Van Dijk's
what are we
centre
doing?
back. He's not the best.
What are you talking about?
You guys don't know me enough. Sorry, I'm joking.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
What are we doing right now?
I was like, yo, what this guy talking about?
Classic crime, innit? Classic crime.
Well, I'm not joking, but it doesn't matter. That's a different discussion.
You're just fucking with our heads.
It's just prime being prime, innit?
Yeah. Just say overrated in your eyes. Don't say not that good. That's crazy.
You didn't rate Mendy, bro.
You don't rate Mendy.
Wait,
Prime, you didn't rate Mendy.
Mendy's my player of the season.
You didn't rate him. You said Kepa was
Yeah, no, hold on. Yeah, the only reason I said that about Mendy. Let's Christensen high. Let's go over what I said. I said he's not a world-class goalkeeper. I asked questions. Do you guys think he can be a world-class goalkeeper? No one answered the question to me. No one answered me. So
But you asked the question because you doubt that ability, don't you?
yeah. I asked that at the start of the season. Yes.
But I think
Has he changed your mind?
Yes and no.
What's the no?
What I said at the start of the season still stands. I need to see him next season, then I'll judge.
I would also say that the thing that stops Mendy being world class for me is he has a couple too many holes in his game as a complete goalkeeper. Like, he's not good with the ball at his feet, really. Like, he's improving, but he's still not there. And
I think it's good. I think it's good with his feet.
We've talked about the penalties thing. Like,
I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad.
But when you,
I think
who's
it's
the
bad.
best keeper? Who's the best keeper in the world to you right now?
For me,
no, you're on it.
I think
Oblak.
Oblak. Do you think Oblak Mendy saving Ziyech's shot?
Say again.
Remember Ziyech scored against.
Yeah, but that's one mistake. Like,
but I'm just saying, Oblak has holes in his game too.
No, I know, but he doesn't have holes. It's a mistake. Whereas, like, for example, Mendy's. I've seen people called out Mendy for the Villa goal they scored when Lampard was in charge, the one where went through his legs. It's like, that wasn't on Mendy, but I've seen people call him out. Where it's like, Oblak hasn't got holes. It's a couple mistakes. Whereas Mendy, I don't think he's got.
Yeah, Mendy only looked weirdly soft, like, in that December period, and it wasn't even the Villa goal that was.
It was against Everton as well. Remember that mistake against Everton where you got
Wolves.
Everton.
When I say best,
even then, it's got a lot better under Tuchel. Go on, Scott.
When you look at Oblak,
I'm taking mistakes out of it. I'm taking in terms of no mistakes. Who do I think is the best? I think Oblak's the best, followed probably at the minute by Neuer or Edison.
What he has done.
But
then Mendy has up
he
there
solved
in my
us.
top 10, though.
But
Mendy.
what he has done with his performances, he
Mendy's
solved
not
this
top
club.
10. You're not getting top 10.
But he solved this club a massive headache for this summer.
Yeah,
remember they were.
Facts.
You know what I mean. That now what we need to do is find a competent backup.
And I don't think he's.
You know what I mean?
I don't think he solved our headache.
He sold it. He sold it for about 5 years.
No. I mean in terms of okay, right now, Donnarumma is available on a free.
Nah, man.
So are you? Okay, you can say no. Some people would say yes.
But Latimer, wouldn't you say that's an opportunity, not a headache?
No, but that's my point. Stop, everyone. Everyone actually listen. Actually listen. I'm not disrespecting what Mendy's done. He's my player of the season, so of course I'm happy with him. My point is, someone like Donnarumma is available on a free. So is that not a potential thought? Maybe not from you, but someone else might think so. Maybe Tuchel or the board think so. That's what I'm posing to you. Is it worth look at Donnarumma, or is it just like we leave him because we know his potential? Mendy, we don't know his. This could be one season for Mendy. We don't know.
It's worth a look at just from a footballing perspective, but then other factors come in, like Lewis mentioned, where it's Mino Raiola is his agent. He's already shown with the fact at Milan where like he's been wanting to leave for at least a good 2 years. Yeah. And all he cares about is money, and just like he doesn't give a shit about AC Milan made him and he doesn't give a shit.
But even in that situation, Prime, if the club really wanted Donnarumma, we could bring Donnarumma in, have him as our number one, and sell Mendy for more money than we bought him for.
I know.
Huge headache that we can't even get rid of when we want to.
No, I know this has nothing. This has nothing to This has nothing to do with Kepa. I know we could bring in Donnarumma and sell Mendy, but again, it's just something I'm posing to you that is Donnarumma a thought or an option? If it's not, then that's fine. And I'm not even complaining because Mendy's been brilliant. I just hope that this is his actual base level and he will grow and develop into a world-class goalkeeper. Because I still have that question.
Yeah, I get you.
I think it's certainly a thought, because anyone that's available for free that is, or either is that good or has the ability to be that good, it should always be thought of as an option. But it should be no more than that. It should just be a thought and then be like, we don't need him.
How's Donnarumma?
I think he's 22.
21.
Oh, he's 21.
He started when he was like 15.
I mean, I know, but I think Scott's right. I mean, you're talking about Milan, and Milan have just been taken over as well. So this is a wealthy Milan as well. So he was the rumors are he was holding up for extortionate wages or something that they didn't value him as, and that's quite big for Milan just to let him go on a free.
Plus,
Not
plus
even-
Milan signed a new goalkeeper, Mike Magnan.
Yes,
from
it's
Lille.
like Magnan from Lille. Yeah.
We should have got. I
He's
think
going
we should have got Magnan as a
Well,
backup
the
goalkeeper.
question is then: is he actually a ball-playing goalkeeper, or is he not?
Who?
Donnarumma.
Donnarumma.
I haven't seen enough.
He's not better than Mendy.
Milan
He's
tonight.
not better than Mendy at playing
I'll
out.
be honest. I've only seen Milan a couple of times.
Yeah, I will be
I
completely honest.
can't
I
give
haven't
you
seen
a full
enough.
thing.
I haven't seen enough.
I can't give it, man.
I've seen a couple games, and he's not an upgrade on Mendy. I'm telling you, like he's not.
All right.
Also, just want to
He's
point
got
out
a lot.
there.
He's still got a lot of time to develop.
That's the thing he has.
Just on the money
age
thing.
is on his side.
Just on the money thing, he's currently on 200,000 euros or pounds. Hang on.
So he wanted more, and he wanted more, and he wanted more.
£200,000 a week, and he wants more than that.
And he wanted more,
thank
yeah.
you.
No.
I bet he's asking for double. I bet he's asking for at least
Fucking hell.
Mino Raiola, man.
Pay 400k for Alaba, who's clearly better as a centre back than Donnarumma is as a goalkeeper, and we're not paying 400k for Donnarumma.
No. Alaba's average as a centre back.
Alaba, I'd rather take. I know he didn't want to play centre back, but as a centre back, I'd rather take that than Donnarumma.
All right, you know. Look, it was just a thought.
Yeah, that's
Donnarumma,
fair. That is
he's
fair,
gone
yeah.
off the table. That's fine. Again,
The
I
more
want
I
All
look
Black.
at it,
I want All Black, so we're not getting All Black, so it's fine.
Yo, the thing about All Black is Atletico Madrid have such a good defense. Like you got all right.
I'd argue
We do too, and Mendy makes the saves, and All Black makes the saves. But I would really want to see when it's time, like for pepper and shots and stuff like that, how he reacts. Atletico Madrid do not concede. They do not concede.
I'd argue
shots.
Atletico's defense hasn't been amazing.
They do not concede shots like that, though.
Yeah, but here's the thing: a lot of Atletico's wonderful defense is because of Oblak. To be honest.
It's because they played, bro. They played like
Liverpool
game.
How they played
That Liverpool game, bro. Away at Anfield, bro. He was insane against that Liverpool game as well.
I'm not saying All Black is not a world beater. I think.
No. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Just like I said, he just solved us a lot of probably our transfer budget with him playing so well. We don't have to think about getting a number one goalkeeper at this moment in time. So because remember the price for All Black last year was £108 million or something like that. Yeah. It's like, nah, sorry, we don't have to do that now because this guy costs 5 times less.
It means that
Andrew, it's All Black.
I don't care. I'm not near to All Black that you are. I don't rate All Black as highly as you do.
I would say it just means
All Black's better than Chet. Actually, I can't even say that.
Sorry, Scott.
I'd say it just means improving our goalkeeper has gone from being like whereas like last season it was top priority or like second or third or whatever. It's now like get a better goalkeeper if we've got money left on the budget. If one becomes available, it's like we don't need a better goalkeeper unless something like say Oblak suddenly becomes available for 40 million or 50 million. Yeah, cool, go and get him. But until that, it's like there's no point. We don't need one. We don't. It's not.
So only if All Black becomes available, then okay.
Yeah, but if he becomes available, then I'm like, yeah.
Isn't Mendy going to the Africa Cup of Nations?
Oh,
so I think we need goalkeeper.
So we said 4 to 6.
That's why you search now for a competent number 2.
Yes.
You guys talked about Areola.
Areola, man.
Areola. Yeah.
PSG want to sell him. They don't need him. They've got a backup in Sergio Rico, so they don't need Areola as the backup.
Yeah.
He'd be like what? I don't even think he'd be more than about.
But I think Areola is too good for a backup.
You know what? You might be able to get him on loan again. You could even just take him on loan if we wanted to.
It's not Areola, to be fair. Like you go get, as I said, like Sam Johnston from West Brom. They just got relegated. He's far too good for that.
Yeah, he's too good for a backup.
But the thing is,
it's just for the championship. He's too good for the championship.
Aaron Ramsdale's worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life.
I don't want him.
Shamsdale.
No way.
He's Shamsdale. Yeah.
No way, man.
He's Shamsdale.
Aaron, people rate Aaron Ramsdale. He's the guy.
Horrible, man.
Oh, he's shocking, man. I don't
Wait,
he's worse than
Ramsdale. Not Ramsdale. What's his name? He was the guy at Sunderland. Johnson. People rate him. What?
Who you talking about? Johnson? Or you talking about someone else?
The one at Sheffield United. What's his name?
Ramsdale.
Right now is Ramsdale.
Like 100 shots a game. So like,
is that the guy at Sheffield United?
Yeah, he's the one at Sheffield United. Yeah, he's the one.
Then who's the guy with the best save percentage in the league?
Is that West Brom? Is it Johnston?
Yeah, sorry, Johnston, yeah? People rate this guy, but they have to keep in mind, he's not actually that good. Oh, well, no, he is, but he's on the same level as... He is what Pickford was when he was at Sunderland. And people rated him because of he had the most saves in the Premier League. The same way people rated Mignolet at Sunderland when he had the most saves in the Premier League. But when they stepped up to a big club and they were looked at a lot more, Mignolet at Liverpool and Pickford because he was England's number one, every little mistake they made got scrutinised. When in reality, they were performing at the same level they were at their previous club.
That's why I say as a backup, like, cool. Just as a backup, cool. If we were talking our main keeper, then no.
But you're thinking he's gone for maybe about a month, maybe more, depending how far Senegal get in the African Cup of Nations. And if you're talking about being in a title race, he's going to drop us points.
The problem is the reason they get Sam Johnston. For my reason, we go for Sam Johnson is for the quotas.
But we have too many English players anyway.
What? Is he he's an English player.
I know, but we don't need to fill a quota. We have so many players.
But Tammy's
leaving, Tomori's leaving.
Yeah, Tammy and Tomori leaving is actually
Tomori might be leaving, but the different type of English.
Then promote 2 or 3 players from the youth academy. That's enough.
That's fine.
Livramento.
There's no goalkeeper. There's no goalkeeper.
Hey, what do y'all think about having Livramento? Decide.
He's an Arsenal goalkeeper. He came from the academy, man. The shocking one. I remember against Man City in the Carabao Cup. He had a shocker.
That's Ronison. That's Ronison, but he didn't come from the
academy. He was shambolic.
He's not an academy.
He won from the academy.
Who's the one that went from us to PSG? Is it the Polish goalkeeper?
Oh, what? Martin Bulka?
Yeah.
Bulka.
Yeah, exactly.
He's actually, his potential is actually amazing.
Where's Jamal Black?
If we had him last season, he would be our number one. If we had him last season, he would be our number one. Because of how shocking Kepa was. Bulka.
Who's that?
Bulka.
Oh.
The guy's quality.
What?
Bulka. He's a very good keeper.
Well, Rui Patricio's on the move apparently from Wolves. So.
Yeah, that's a great option.
I'm just thinking as a backup.
That's he's way too good for a backup, man.
He's getting
I know,
he's too good for a backup, man.
What is he? 34,
he's getting up there in age.
Now? He's 34.
You know what? Maybe this is why big clubs don't buy.
Take Burn's 11 shirt.
This is why big clubs don't buy African goalkeepers because of the Cup of Nations. Because you're missing in a crucial part.
What do you man think of? What do you man think of Melia from Leeds?
I will be.
You cussed a lot.
I genuinely thought he was the worst.
I'm not paying that much for a keeper, man.
Like
I think the decent
defense is open though.
So he's been good the second half of the season, but like first half of the season, he was fucking awful.
He was shocking. He was.
Yeah, I mean,
he has potential, man.
Against us, he made against us in the first half, he made about 8 or 9 mistakes, and that should be expected for a young goalkeeper.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I don't know how good he's going to be.
I think the fact he's so hit and miss is worrying.
Yeah.
Like, I know he'd be back up, but someone's mentioned it. To be fair, if they don't want to play him, Romero from United.
Yeah, Sergio Romero. Yeah.
Oh, to be fair, I know it's United. They probably won't give us to him,
but then like he hasn't really played, man.
But he's gonna. We've already seen he is a brilliant backup goalkeeper. Like,
especially the penalties
to be made that he could be challenging for that the number 1 jersey with how bad Henderson and De Gea have been recently. He's going to be 5th choice come the summer. Like,
I mean, he's good, but when's the last time you saw him play, man?
I remember that World Cup 2014 against the Netherlands. I remember the World Cup 2014 against the Netherlands, and he saved that pen. Like he said, like why did the Netherlands pay up for that?
Wait, so do y'all think Kepa is a good backup?
No.
He's not even reserve. He's not even good as a reserve.
I saw when I saw AFTV talking about this when they were talking about Ryan, where the whole point of a backup goalkeeper is when they come in, you are in like. So so say Mendy gets injured, he's up for the African Cup of Nations. There's no fuck, we have to play Kepa or we have to play this man. It's like cool. I trust this guy to step in and do a job. With Kepa, it's like fuck. Because it's like you
Yes.
know people are going to hit long shots. You know, like you know what his deficiencies are, and you know what people are going to do.
So let's just
You want to see
Do you man think?
shoot, bro.
Let's say if Chelsea got a competent goalkeeper, do you man think Tuchel would play the second goalkeeper in the final, or would you play with the first goalkeeper?
No, I don't think he would, because they're trying.
No.
I don't think he. Listen, well, it depends, because I don't know if he takes the cup games seriously enough. Do you know what I mean? Whether he sees him as high priority. I don't think he saw the FA Cup. You heard his interview. You didn't see the FA Cup this season as a high priority. It was a bonus. But you want a situation with the goalkeeper, like when Cech came in, and we had Kudicini as number 2. And when Kudicini came in, you weren't ever like angry or anything. You were like,
you need to be confident that they're still going to perform. The level isn't going to drop. It's
exactly. And that's
got
what you
no
need.
worries.
You need your number 2.
doesn't drop with Kepa though.
It does though. Like it doesn't drop, but you're always worried. I'm never watching a game with Kepa in goal where I'm like, I'm not worried that someone's just going to smack a 30-yard.
Really, you confident in him from long shots, because no one's taking long shots against Mendy.
It's not even.
Why is
that.
it every game that the other team?
I am not confident, bro.
The Brighton game at the start of the season where Trossard scored that goal, and it's like he hit that into the corner, and it's like
the worst one was the FA Cup, man. Remember the Luton Town or something like that? He shot that straight at the goalkeeper and he was slid on.
Remember Bellerin?
No, come on now. No, come on now.
Remember Bellerin? Remember Bellerin's shot for Arsenal?
Oh, I remember that 3-2 goal. Yeah.
What about
a scam.
What about a couple of seasons ago? Do you remember the Daniel Sturridge one for Liverpool in the
Oh,
last
yeah.
minute?
No, that was a good shot.
Leeds,
That was a good shot.
No. But if you watch, Leeds tried to do that and Mendy saved it. Yeah, that's the difference. Mendy's a better goalkeeper, got longer arms, and he can save it.
100%.
100%.
I think Tielemans doubted.
And also, I don't think Kepa makes that same save that Mendy does in the second half against Leeds. You know, when he's like going one way, but then his arm comes out that way to stop it. That's like a Peter Cech save. That's what Peter Cech
Mendy's
used
world
to do.
class,
Type
bro.
of save.
I don't care.
I just said. Listen, Kepa, it's unfair. Kepa's under the spotlight.
He wins
He's at
Champions
Chelsea,
League,
man. He just needs to go back to wherever, take a loan wherever. Because remember, guys, this summer he's still got 4 years left contract.
How the hell did he
years?
He got
a 7-year contract. A 7-year contract.
He had a 7-year contract.
A 7-year contract at 150 grand a week, something like that.
That was the worst deal we ever made in our
7 years.
Bro,
ever.
Whoever signed that deal, please, I beg. What the fuck?
That was the worst deal we ever made.
That's the worst by far. That's the worst by far.
That's the worst piece of business in Chelsea history.
The deal at the time, to be fair, the deal at the time,
bro, that's the worst.
Hold on. Maybe 7 years is excessive, but the deal at the time kind of made sense. The whole situation with
it didn't even make no sense to me.
Listen, no.
Go on.
You guys are trying to argue and debate when you don't understand what's happening. The whole situation with Courtois leaving, and then with Costa falling out with Conte and him wanting to leave, and they were near the end of their contracts as well. Trying to maximize what you can from a player in terms of price tag, which is what Chelsea tend to do best anyway. It made sense. 7 years is very excessive, yes, but from their point of view at the time, it did make sense because he's young and he had a sell-on value.
You can buy Kepa. I don't have a problem with that, but signing him for £72 million from La Liga as well, bro. Like he's not English.
That's because
I always blame whoever scouted him.
Because if you understand the club he came from, that's how they do business. That comes down to our scouts. Where
is it like the Basque separatists or something like that?
Bilbao, the way it works there is the players buy out their contracts.
Yeah, they never take a transfer fee.
His release clause. His release clause was 72 million. The way it works is the players buy out the release clause, and then the club pays the players the money they used. But that's because again, our scouting team was asked and decided to go for a guy who it cost 72 million because of the club he came from. Again, that comes down to scouting and just not.
It's not even that. He was our second. It's not even that. He was our second choice. We wanted Alisson, but again, our board or whatever faffing around. We tend to do this a lot, where we have our first choice target. We wanted Lukaku, we get Morata. We wanted Alexandro, and we get Marcos Alonso. We want Koulibaly or Van Dijk, and we get David Luiz. We do this a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
There's
you know,
there's no planning.
Go on, Ryan. What are you saying?
what about the other Senegalese goalkeeper in that, man, from Rennes and that? What's his name? Gomez or something?
Alfred Gomes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man said, what's it called? Rennes just lost Edouard Mendy, so they just took the second choice from Senegal, man.
I thought you were gonna
Man,
say
just
bring
having
him
them
to
two
Chelsea.
Senegal. The chemistry in the goalkeeping training with Gomez and Mendy, man, that'd be immense.
Ren have got a good track
both
record with
goalkeepers.
goalkeepers with us. So.
Ooh, Oli Gunnar Solskjaer, man. No tactics, just vibe, man. 100% chemistry, man. 0 rating.
De Gea cannot. How De Gea is so rubbish, man. Like, save a pen.
They should have wrapped up that game before flipping extra time, bro.
No, they should have lost that before. Like,
The goal they got was pretty lucky.
Yeah, they got a lucky goal. Villarreal had a chance, I think, to kill the game off and score a second.
But Villarreal is so dumb. Like, they're so Villarreal's awful.
Bro, Rashford is overrated, man. I'm just gonna say he's overrated, man.
I tweeted this out last night.
He's been injured, bro.
Whoever, if anyone genuinely thinks this guy should touch the or start a game in the Euro, they're
injured.
And like, if you think he should genuinely start a game in the Euros, you're high.
What do you mean?
Yo,
Bro, he's overrated, man.
The only three I want to see is Sancho, Foden, and Grealish. Like, I
Nah,
don't care if Foden
Sancho,
plays on the
Grealish
right
chain, man.
and Grealish is at the 10 or Foden's at the 10. I just want to see them three, man. I just need to see Grealish, Sancho, Foden, and if they
Big up,
click,
Lars.
man, that would be.
Check out his channel at 6 p.m. as well.
I do not want to see. I do not want to see Sterling.
Mr. Paulito's way saying the 7 years was to amortize the 70 million over a longer period. Smart if the signing works out, but an albatross if it doesn't. Yeah, but here's the thing: we could have had what's his name, Allison, for the same price tag if we'd moved with a bit more urgency in that transfer window. Which is why it's just jarring, because we got bent over for the same fee for a keeper who clearly wasn't worth it. But go on, Jams, what are you saying, man?
But like, I do not want to see Sterling start in the Euros, man, because he's gonna annoy me, man. Because like, I remember that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't even think he should start over Rashford personally. Because Sterling, yeah, he had a shocker this season, man.
Bruv,
like,
all Rashford can do, is flipping cut in and shoot, bruv. I'm telling you, bro.
But like Rashford, he has something about him, like that skill.
Bro, Rashford's a good player.
One Foyth had him in his back pocket.
Bro,
a Tottenham reject who's a centre back, not a right back, and was playing at right back, and had a bloody nose and a frigging tampon up his nose.
But like,
bro, Ali forced Rashford that game.
You know what the funny thing is about Rashford? Now everyone wants to say now he's injured, and then when he was
he been injured for 4 months?
Yeah, it was injured before, but now
he had a shoulder injury for 4 months, and he carried it.
Waxing lyrical about him, and nothing was said about. And
he still had 20 goals for United. No,
again, it's numbers. Like, it's just numbers can be manipulated.
Bro, we don't have a player higher than 7 in the league.
But like, you could argue that you could play Rashford like a striker, because if you're playing against a Highland, he can run behind.
Yo, calm down now.
Stop. Like, I'm not saying he's got to start Rashford every game.
I'm not saying he's good. I think he should, but I think he should be playing.
Like, you
play him against Scotland. There you go. Play him against Scotland, where we should be winning that game anyway.
At least reactionary to the United game, bro. Like,
no, this is off course.
I feel like he plays different for England though too. Like, I think he doesn't. He has different role. Like, he doesn't play the same with United.
Who else is in that group stages?
When he's not playing, England kind of looks
Republic and Croatia and Scotland.
Oh, okay.
So
my worst nightmare would be Rashford.
Don't underplay Czech Republic. They're a decent team, you know. Czech Republic are like a decent team. They have like 3 Czech. They have the Kral. I think he plays like up front, or he plays like a wing or something like that, or DM. And they have like a Kufal as well, man. They have a decent team. I think we should not underestimate them.
Yeah, but that's why, like, for me, it won't happen. But as Ryan said, the front 4 should be Kane, Sancho, Foden, Grealish. Like, the interchange.
That's gonna be crazy, man.
As someone who's not English here, your team's dead anyway. It doesn't matter. Everyone's dead.
I'm not English. What are you talking about?
Our team is good. Our manager is dead.
No. Your team is bad. Don't just blame Southgate.
Our team's not that bad. Our team's not that bad.
It is.
They got no, they're not.
England.
Okay, name me players you have.
Grealish,
Foden,
Sancho,
Kane, Sancho,
Foden.
Mount,
Ramsdale.
I would still put Sterling in there because
You know this. You know the phrase "attack wins you games, defense wins you titles." You don't have defense.
No, our defense is shit. I won't lie.
Okay, so you're going into the tournament just for vibes then?
Yeah, basically.
All right, cool.
What's wrong with that, Prime? What's wrong with going for vibes, sir?
Oh, Andrew, I want to win. I want my country to win. But,
but we know. I know we're not winning, so I'm just like, I just want us to play nice football.
You know, if it's reached the knockout stages, I do not want to play against France. I do not want to play against France because Karim Benzema and Mbappe will spin us dirty, man.
Yo, I can't lie. I like
think
England's team.
Portugal, man.
Yeah, I like England's team, yeah, but from the moment you're picking Connor Cody, Tyrone Mings, and them man over flipping Tomori and Konsa, you're not trying to win.
Why would Konsa and Tomori be in the squad?
Because they've had good seasons.
Oh, Konsa's
in theory they have, but they haven't been part of previous England squads. So you'd be bringing them for what?
I'd agree with that. If Connor Cody's been a part of one or two, he's never been to a major international tournament. I don't know why he's going because Wolves have had a dog shit
What
season.
about James
as well.
Ward-Prowse as well? James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
I don't.
Ward-Prowse I understand because he's
been part of previous squads.
Yeah, I understand that as well. He's a good utility man, but he hasn't made the tournament as well.
I'd let go of Ward-Prowse and keep Jude Bellingham, man. Jude Bellingham's a very good player. He's a very good player, man.
He's also 18 and has had mistakes this season. He's been good, but he's also had mistakes.
He had mistakes, but I think he's a very good. I think he can develop into work.
Tomori will be part of future squads. Konsa, I think he's just having one good season.
I genuinely don't know if Tomori will.
Tomori will be.
I don't know if he will. I think he will with a different manager. This is the thing. Like even with you can tell Southgate just doesn't watch or understand international football. The thing with Sancho is he has to pick him, and bar that, it's like Trippier's his guy, so he could be playing in friggin' South Korea and he'd still pick him. And then again, the only other person or the other people that could be Bellingham, fair enough, but then it's Tomori, and Tomori's had a good season.
Yeah, he has, but he hasn't been part of previous squads. So he can't really.
It's been White.
It's not like
I
he
think it was
trusts
back
him.
in 2018. No, not 2018. That was probably like
Tomori got one international call up and he didn't even play. I think he came on for 5 minutes just so he can't be capped for other countries.
You trust Tyrone Mings and Connor Cody over
Tyrone. I don't think Tyrone is not even a good defender, man. I don't even think
he's a good defender.
He's good. He's good.
You know what's funny? You guys are complaining that Tyrone Mings is not good. I swear a year ago, everyone was saying Tyrone Mings should be playing. So this whole thing, people are
not rational people.
This whole thing, people are hyped about Konsa or just bring Tomori or just bring this guy or drop that guy. He's the manager for a reason, and I don't have a problem with the squad personally. I think it's a good squad. The best out of what you have.
If this England team was under Arsene Wenger, bro, this England team would be totally different, man. Because Gareth Southgate he's so clueless, man. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I don't think it would be totally different. I think the thing we would see is we'd see a lot of people called up on merit, but I think we'd also see an clear understanding of tactics in terms of in-game management, where it's like, the thing with me is I know every single game in the Euros, without fail, we'll play a double pivot of probably Henderson or Phillips and Rice. We'll play against Scotland and we'll play a friggin' double pivot.
Yeah, because your defense is not good enough and Scotland can beat you on a counter-attack.
If it's Scotland, like they haven't got world beaters, and it's like if we play a midfield or we play with an attacking impetus, like a midfield three of Rice who can sit it, Mount who can do the legwork as well, and Grealish who's already shown this season for Aston Villa he can play in a 3, that would work. But it's our manager don't want to try that. He does not want to try that.
Scott, you're England. You teams don't fear you.
I'm not saying they have to fear us. I don't think teams fear Villa, but Grealish still does bits. That's the thing. You don't have to necessarily be feared, but it's about knowing that you can express yourself a bit more and go at teams, especially when you are clearly the better team.
But your defense has clear deficiencies. There's a reason, for example, Trent hasn't made a lot of previous squads, and he's not going to go to the tournament.
Go. Or if he goes, he shouldn't be starting.
Exactly. So there's clear deficiencies, which probably makes sense why he plays with a back 5 or he plays a double pivot. It makes sense.
Bro,
like you guys say, go out and attack teams. But if you guys get beat, for example, if another Iceland situation happens again, and you get beat by Scotland or Croatia or Czech Republic, and you finish third in your group, all of a sudden you're playing in Southgate. Why is our defense so leaky against these teams that are not that good?
But then, like, if we go out, then fair, or we get smashed, then fair enough. But it's like when I'm seeing us barely beat Poland without Lewandowski, like, and we barely went for it.
Yeah,
I know it was a friendly, but still, I think it was a friendly.
Do you remember who played for England in that game? You guys had a B team.
I will check. I don't think we did. We certainly had some rotation. I don't think it was anywhere near.
I think we played John Stones. That's what I remember. I think.
England.
But realistically, what's it called? Even if we do sit defensive, bro, we sit like in a low block and we don't attack teams, bro. We're coming up against France, Portugal, players with talent. You can break down a low block as well. So I'd rather go out and attack teams and try to utilize the best part of our squad, which is the what's it called? The attack, which is a bright attack, a young attack of one of the world's best strikers, Harry Kane, rather than just sit back and just roll over, try to find our chances on the counter, and then when France and Portugal break us down, we're gonna have to do something we didn't do the whole tournament, which is go out and attack from the start, and then we'll just be used to getting picked off in the counter. So I'd rather just go for it and then see what happens, man, because it's vibes at the end of the day.
But also, you say go for it. If for the maybe past 3 years now, actually, because of the COVID. But for the past 3 years, if the way you've been playing has not been open, expansive, attacking football, switching it all of a sudden just for a tournament does not make sense either.
Yeah, but that comes down to the manager. That comes down to the fact he does not want to go for it. Like, and I don't think he can. Again, that's the problem. Like, again, this was the team for the Poland game. Pope, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Chilwell, Phillips, Rice, Mount, Foden, Kane, Sterling. And
is that back five?
Say again?
Is that a five?
No, that was a 4. It was 4-3-3. And that's basically like it was nearly basically full strength bar for me team. That's full strength. And then you look at, like, I know stats don't always tell the game, but you look at the stats, we were comfortable in terms
Jamie.
of
That's so
in
true.
terms of chances, in terms of the way we played, like passing and whatnot. But we won 2-1 and it required an 85th minute winner against Poland that didn't have Lewandowski. So, like, we might as well just go for it, because if we don't, and we end up playing this, like, slow football and end up don't beating teams like Scotland or Czech Republic or whoever, then it just looks worse. If you go for it and get beaten, at least you can say you went for it. If you
Poland played a back five,
bro, and we even if hang on, what would we get? Even so, I'd expect us to do more than we did, and it comes down to being far too defensive and far too passive.
Is that not also down to your players as well? Like, I've been watching England my whole footballing life, basically. Like, people like to blame managers too easily. Sometimes players have to take responsibility.
Because you know, I've said the same about Chelsea though when Lampard was in charge.
Yeah,
that's true to an extent, bro. That's true to an extent.
I did say the same thing. That as much
Like
as
Fabio
Lampard
Capello,
wasn't good enough, our players have to take the same responsibility. They can't down tools.
Like, you know when Fabio Capello was England manager, like, these players didn't want to play for him. Like Joe Cole and like Rio, they don't want to play for Fabio Capello, man. I don't want it to happen again, man, because, like, these players, man, they're good players, bro.
And to answer Keliko in the comments, taking the piss out of our team. Yes, I am taking the piss out of the England team because it's not good. However, I think Southgate is actually doing a good job. So,
fair enough,
bro. I don't think he's not doing. I don't think he's doing a good job.
I'll do a stream in about 20 minutes. But big up everyone who's locked in. We'll be back tomorrow for what are we going to do? Champions League final preview. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Big up everyone who's locked in. Smash the like and subscribe button, and yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow, 24 hours before the final. Take care and up.